There we go. It has begun.
Yes, another one.
Another one. Okay. So a bit of a recap, I think, is in order. So having survived Greymoor, having survived Balkanard and ensuing other little side quests and storylines, you have made your way back to Vaingate. Whereupon you have met with your friend Balaran, the alchemist, apothecary.
Yeah.
This is what he's known as in Vaingate. But
Cool profession, by the way. Good job, Russell.
Right, but Hank, of course, knows that Balaran has a few other tricks up his sleeve, and he isn't just simply an apothecary. But he's a full-blown wizard. Dun, dun, dun. In any case, he's been assisting you with identifying some things, and you've asked him some questions and what have you. Do you want to recap more of that, Hank?
Oh man, So we explained to him. So we arrived. I gave him my 2 gifts of the tapestries, or at least the one tapestry and the reprint.
Yep. That's right.
He was very pleased with those. One thing I do remember is that he told us that he was off the ales because he got the gout, which we fixed for him promptly because that's ridiculous.
Right.
He's Balaran the Buoyant. You can't be Balaran the Buoyant and not drink ales. Right. So anyway, Tricky Bob sorted him out for that.
Tricky Bob.
Yeah. You did lesser restoration or something like that? Or
yes.
Don't think that would work on gout.
Well,
gout works on
gout.
Gout is a buildup of ulric acid in your joints.
It works on gout. Thank you.
and does it come from drinking ale?
It comes from
probably not actually. Yeah,
acids
like too much
tomatoes, and I think corned beef is a good thing of that as well.
Too many Bloody Marys.
Things in life.
So maybe we need to retrospectively tweak the ailment to something a little bit more likely to have occurred.
If he likes salted meats, which I can imagine Balaran the Buoyant does.
Definitely. Yeah. Both Balaran and Hank actually would have a passion for salted meats.
Right. Maybe Hank is getting gout.
maybe. Yeah. Although I've heard gout is a genetic thing, and we're not genetically related, so
not that you know of.
Well, that's true. Not that I know of. That's true. Yeah, right. Hank is an orphan, so we don't know what's going on there. Right. Although, are you technically an orphan if your estranged father actually ends up taking care of you, unbeknownst?
Who knows? You're an orphan if you're just abandoned.
Right.
Depends if he knows or not, I guess.
We also explained to Balaran about the incident that we had with the drow in the caves.
Right.
We also explained what we'd done as per the crevasse where we found the Daughters of Twilight and picked up some trinkets. I showed him all my trinkets. He was pretty skeptical about the scimitars, but he did agree to help me attune if he can. I've got one last shot. He has instructed us, or at least advised us, to take the big chest, I think it is, or the big obsidian onyx, the big black box to the Daughters of Twilight, and any other trinkets, I suppose. I'm not sure if he actually advised that. He probably just told us about the black box.
No, it's just the big box. He said,
just the big box.
Don't open it. Apparently.
Yeah. Right, so we won't be opening that then anyway. I'm assuming that we're going to take that, and then we set to with some ales because we healed him of his fake illness.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Well. Okay. So you're currently in his apothecary greenhouse at the back of his apartments. Behind his shop, and so you're surrounded by plants and little pools of water contained in stone fountain type stuff. You know what I'm talking about? You get the gist. My words aren't coming out properly. Blah. Okay.
It's okay, man. You don't need words as a dungeon master, right?
Don't need words. They're not very useful. Not very useful at all. Okay, so Balaran, he's sitting there. He looks at you and he says, so have you heard about the events of Vaingate since you've left?
We've been pretty close to the ground there, Ballarin. We haven't heard much, to be honest.
Well,
Yeah,
we're currently preparing for war. There's been a number of incidents here since you've been away.
Well, shucks.
There have been attacks in the northern districts, in the palatial district. There has been monsters appearing from beneath the ground. Numerous city guards have been slain. The Barakyle envoy have sent more wizards here. They've had ships arrive via river.
Is that a good thing?
Who are the aggressors? What's the situation?
There are soldiers marching north from Dagdagial in the south. We have little word of their progress, but we understand that they march upon us, and so we are making preparations and defenses for their arrival. We expect there to be a siege.
Vane Gate.
Out of game, Dagdagiel is the orc place?
No,
that's east.
All right.
Dagdagiel is far to the south.
Yeah, let me just bring up my.
You guys are up here, and
I remember where it is, but I don't remember who they are. Are they like
humans?
They are humans.
Mostly humans.
What were the attacks from underneath? You said the surprise attacks, ambushes,
the monsters.
What?
Little is known about them. Some say they're fiends from hell. Others have said that they were from other planes of existence. Some say they lived there all along. Who knows? I have my own suspicions that something has been unleashed there, but I cannot say for sure. It does not entirely make sense to me.
Are the wizards here to help fight, or?
They have sent one named Vorbis Dal Ranaz, who is the inquisitor of their order, to uncover some sort of misdemeanor that has occurred. Queen Clareska has some out of game. Pause for a minute. No, I stopped. I won't say that. He doesn't say that.
Okay.
I don't get my lines confused. Yes, logic.
So these armies that are advancing, have they sacked anything along the way? Are any of the towns further south in danger?
We understand that Charis Sith have sent forth chariots to cut them off at the edges of Kurgasiax, and Thantafaxath is still undecided. Zamradial has chosen to stay out of the conflict. These are the cities to the south. We're not sure if they will reach Gwil.
So they're quite reasonable then, if they're willing to, if cities along the way choose to opt out or to not take part, they're not murderously ravaging the lands. They're just coming for Vane Gate.
Seems to be.
What do they hope to achieve?
Vane Gate is the head of the Meldrain Protectorate. If they can take the head, they can take the entire empire. They do not need to fight those other cities.
Damn.
What about Dagdagiel? Are they nice?
Are they nice?
Yeah. I mean, there's always two sides to a coin.
Dagdagiel is ruled by a rather unbecoming lady known as the Empress of Doors. The city
title.
Yes, it is a strange title indeed. But it says she holds the keys to the city, and thus she's the Empress of Doors.
That's they must be a very literal people.
Perhaps.
Are her chariots called the Riders on the Storm?
I do not know. Dagdagiel itself is said to be built upon a series of ziggurats, and it has a necropolis, a vast necropolis. Long ago in the deep past, there was a king named Devariel who, in the Second Age, it is said, raised thousands of dead from their necropolis.
Man, that stuff is really going down. What are they? What, so they're just going to close the city gates and go to war?
Us or them?
If they get to the gate, they're pretty well screwed. We should go. We should leave. What happened to the war at the east? Did they just withdraw their troops?
I do not know the answer to that. The war, I believe you refer to the war in the west.
Right. I might. No, I'm not sure anymore. I thought there was one to the east. Well, that's how far behind in politics I am. Okay. So the main forces are against this, fighting in the south. Are we stretched pretty thin? How are we looking numbers wise?
Our soldiers are in the west. So yes, if you recall, you were sent to Graham out of game. If you recall, you were sent to Greymoor as wardens because of the fact that they did not have enough soldiers.
Right.
And that's where the Balkanard troops, they're obviously heading to reinforce Vangate as well.
Right.
Seems like this is a real powder keg kind of a situation. It's been leading up for a while.
So what's to the west? What is to the west of Vangate that they're fighting against?
Well, that's a great question, and the answer is nobody really fucking knows.
Oh.
And this is being kept. Not many people ask the question, and when they do, they start to wonder, because if you look at the map,
there's nothing there.
There's nothing there. It's the edge of the map. It's the edge of the city, the edge of the world, basically, as far as you know.
Oh, I'm looking the wrong direction. I'm looking east.
That's why I said east. I was confused. Okay. So I'm guessing then we probably won't be able to get forces.
There's been a lot of
to the north.
There's been a lot of rhetoric about the war in the west, and ships have definitely sailed from Vangate.
Well,
who knows where they went?
Wait a minute. We've got Dagdagiel jerks coming up from the south, right?
Right.
Intending on waging war in Vangate, which is ages away. You look at that map, right? We from Vangate to Balkanard was 6 weeks for us with horses. Right.
Yeah.
So from Vangate to Dagdagiel, if they've only just left now, we've got ages. If they haven't left now, then they must have known this was happening for a while. Something would have been said.
Yeah, so
I think it's been happening for a while. We just haven't heard.
So now the interesting thing about this is running parallel to this, guys. You'll remember we've got threats against the world by the Drow. So I'd be willing to. I'd say that there's one of two things happening: either Dagdagiel and the Drow Empire, or if there is an empire, in this together, or the Drow know about what's going on within Dagdagiel and are taking advantage of the situation.
I don't know. In my experience in the world, you're going to meet a lot of dicks out there. And sometimes two might exist at the same time who are just trying to do the same thing.
Yeah,
correlation does not equal causation.
I think that it's an awfully convenient thing to be happening at the same time, you know?
Well,
where it concerns Balkanard, right? Our mission is to get troops to Balkanard, or at least to
a platoon, anything, a troop,
or at the very least to divert the problems in Balkanard to make them safe. If we can't get troops up there, then maybe we could get troops from somewhere else, not from Vangate, or maybe we can prevent the incursion from happening entirely.
If we talk to the sisters and the queen, surely we can get. We don't even need that many. We just need a distraction. I mean, not a distraction, but
we don't
fodder.
know how many we need actually. But
all we need to do is break that portal, and we made it almost to that portal before. If we get there before the portal opens, or before the army or whatever comes through, we can destroy the portal and we'll be okay. We don't have to go on the other side of it.
I think, first of all, our first port of call is to the sisters to donate this silly box. I think we also should ask to see if there's anyone who's
Balaram has nodded off and has gone to sleep. He's
Fair
snoring.
Enough. Shall we wander off? We've got enough.
No,
We've got
not yet.
I want alchemist fire.
No, I haven't gotten what I want. I want a cool potion. But anyway, what I'm saying is, what we should go to the Daughters of Twilight and then ask if there's anyone who knows. There's an expert in town, or or even the Daughters of Twilight might know something about Astorian architecture or Astorian magic, right? And see if we can figure out how to deactivate this portal.
I thought we'd just blow it up.
Well, we don't know if that'll work.
Out of game, what would you blow it up with?
Wizard.
Yeah. Fireball it.
I mean,
what if that doesn't work?
it is underground. So what I would do is bury it in rubble. So if we get a wizard and start taking out the ceiling and it smashes down onto this portal, then the portal can't activate if it's just covered in dirt, rocks, and shit.
That's going to be a really big excavation, though. Like, you can't just stand at the bottom of a big cavern and throw fireballs at the ceiling.
We'll need more than one wizard. We'll need a few wizards.
So why don't instead we go and see if anybody knows about Astorian architecture and magic and see what they think. If they think that the best way to do this is to bury the portal with fireballs at specific spots in the ceiling, then cool. But if there's another way that's easier,
well, first
maybe
things
we can
first.
figure out how to do that.
Probably doesn't sound like the Queen will give us troops, but we got to go ask because
we
Lord
do.
Darkanaut asked us to do that.
That's true.
So how does one approach?
We've got the letter. We've got to go see her anyway.
So the letter will get us through, you reckon?
Yeah, for sure. That's what it's there for. Easy.
Is this our first stop, or is it the Daughters? How do we want to tackle this?
I'll go Daughters first and then Queen. What do you reckon, Tricky?
I don't trust the sisters.
Yeah, I'm a bit suspicious of them. They definitely just seem a little bit culty.
What?
I mean, it seems
a little bit culty.
everything
like
seems
they're
very
very
culty to me.
Not like the cult of Moradin at all.
No, they're great.
Oh, we're a good cult.
They're inclusive.
Yes.
Yeah, our culture's better.
Guys, girls, doesn't matter as long as you're short.
Plus, one of the daughters winked at me that one time, or at least I think that they winked at me that one time. I probably just made that up, but
Yeah, I think you did make that up, but okay.
I feel like the Queen should be our first choice, and if we can get through her, we should be able, we should go with that.
Yeah,
And
let's
then
do that.
Everything
Queen-
else.
Sisters. I mean, Queen can tell the sisters what to do, I imagine.
By the way, I'm going to go to your little, what do you might call it? Your
Shared
spreadsheet.
drive?
Yeah, shared spreadsheet. I'm going to add another sheet here.
Sheet 10.
Just going to spread this
We have
out.
so many
so
sheets.
You can see what's going on.
Oh, I've already read this.
Have you already read this? Have I given
What
this
is
to
it?
you?
It was on the shared drives.
Okay. Okay.
But that's just because I was doing a lot of reading.
Oh, yeah, I remember reading this. I forgot most of it, though.
You've seen it?
what was it?
It's the timeline.
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
Okay. Well, I put it in your group thing anyway, so it's there.
All right, cool.
Hopefully that's okay with you guys. Otherwise, you can delete it if you don't feel that you need it.
That's good.
Okay. And on the calendar, you'll note that I added a day thing as well.
Oh, neat.
Oh, yeah, nice. Okay, so we are on day 5 then.
Yep.
5th of the 5th.
5th to the 5th.
Nice. All right.
Yep.
Okay, I'm with Tricky Queen. We have a reason to go to her, a direct reason, and then we get to keep the box potentially and open it at some point.
I don't think we want the box, Kimball.
Might make her a target more than we
don't know.
already are.
We don't know yet. It could be very useful. Maybe the box breaks the portal. Anyway,
We
Queen
don't know what's in the
first.
box. Yeah. How do we get to the Queen?
Through where's that map?
Hang on. Wait a minute. See what Bellerin says. Plus, I want to get a potion off.
He's asleep.
Oh, wake
Wake him up. Yeah, go wake him up. Give him a kick.
Yeah.
And his tummy.
I'll bring him. I'll
Say,
bring him
"Listen
some
here,
cheese and some
old
bread
man."
from his own pantry, obviously.
Uh-huh.
Well, I'm his butler, right? So
I thought
Right.
that
So
was
Russell,
over.
Yes.
has Vangate ever been under siege before?
over the many centuries, it has been under siege numerous times.
Within recent,
Not within your living memory.
okay, scary.
Yes, the question is, do we even need to be concerned?
There hasn't been a true big war in the whole world for about 700 years.
Well, that's older than I am.
but this is still big potatoes.
The last big war was the Battle of Koban Dor, where the elves drove back the orcs, and they haven't been seen or heard of since, really, and only in very small numbers. And it's only recently that rumors have started popping up about the orcs from time to time. Gimbal, you probably know more about the orcs right now than anybody.
They don't seem so bad, but I'm on the fence about it again, so we'll see. All right.
It's about what?
Oh,
do you, as a ranger, are you used to like small skirmishes, small wars? Is that what goes on in your?
Yes, constantly.
Oh,
weird little fights that aren't really explained that well. So, and this just feels the same, but on a grand scale. We still don't know why these people are coming from the south. We don't know if Van Gate are in the wrong at this point. We're just protecting it, but none of us really have. Is anyone that attached to Van Gate?
I mean, I was raised here, but it's not like, I'm not gonna shed my blood on.
Yeah. What has it done for you? That's the question.
My first time being here. Well, besides the time I was here before.
It's the second time.
I'm quite attached to Bangate because Bellerin lives here.
He can move.
He can move. He can.
I don't think he will.
I would like to know what the South want. Why they're doing this more than anything. But rather, if I'm going to get into a war and if I'm going to start fighting for something,
magic.
Really
That's
appreciate.
No, Bellerin.
Magic. Wow, wait, you're awake.
I drifted off there for a moment.
If they want magic, shouldn't they just beat up the?
Yeah, our old man. I'll give him some cheese and some bread.
Well, thank you. Yes, magic. I think that's the answer. They see an opportunity to seize it. The elves and the Moldrayans are with their treaty. The treaty is stagnated and stalled, and they see an opportunity to come here. They know the magic's here now. They know there's items and objects, and further, these Barakyle wizards are here for a reason,
What do you think the Barakyle? You've got some experience with the Bellerin. What do you think what's their game here?
I think their game is as it always is. It's power.
Barakiel Isles are right next to Dagdagiel.
Yes, and
it's an island of wizards and magic, and they chose to trek all the way to the north. I don't trust these wizards.
It is my opinion that the Barakyle wizards are somehow behind all of this. Dagdagiel, they have attacked Vaingate many centuries past, but then we have attacked them. So that is a conflict that goes back centuries. In any case, I feel that it is the wizards who have an interest in Vaingate presently with the magic that's here. And I also suspect that they are involved when it comes to these infernal beings, these beasts coming up from beneath. Something of that smells of them to me too.
Do you think maybe it's the Barakyle envoy's plan? Just spitballing with you here, Bellerin.
Yes.
Do you think maybe that they're playing Vaingate against Dagdagiel and then
yes, of course, yes.
to swoop in when both are weakened?
I should think, my dear friend Hank, that is perfectly and exactly what is occurring. That is most likely the precise reason.
So guys, here's what I think. Step 1, visit the Queen. Step 2, destroy the Barakyle Isles. And step 3, destroy the Black Town. And then we're set.
Easy peasy.
All before dinner.
Okay.
Let's get the Queen's take on it.
Well, before we go to the Queen, this leads us to the what are we going to do with the eye that we're meant to stow there?
We'll talk to the Queen. I thought we tell the Queen what we're doing, and then we do it, and then we've done our part. You're alive, and it's their problem.
Bellerin had that plan, actually, didn't you, Bellerin? You said that why don't we give it to the Queen and tell her what it is?
Yes, that was my idea. Yes, I thought that perhaps could save you a lot of trouble.
It
and
would
at least she would know what it was and would know not to speak in front of it.
Yeah, good idea. And we could even
an
do
opportunity to spread some misinformation, if you so desire.
That's good. And then we could also what's his face anymore.
And we
Chubbs.
could also do it without what's his face knowing. We keep it in the bag until we give it to it, explain what we're about to do, and then give it to it. Yeah.
Precisely. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seems too easy.
I'm okay with too easy.
Yeah, I'm fine with it. It's your life on the line, not mine.
Should we take the?
Just kidding.
Should we take the ball out of the bag for a while? Otherwise, it looks suspicious that it's just blacked out completely for so long.
Nah, leave it in there.
Yeah.
It's been in there for what, 6 weeks so far?
I mean,
good point.
He's already going to be suspicious of us anyway. If anything, it's going to be suspicious to take it out earlier.
That's a good point. Now it is.
True. Also, he knows that we're doing this. I mean, of course we are. We're doing this under duress, right? We're going to be
Josiah's duress.
Unwilling. Yeah. So if we've got an opportunity to hide it, he knows that we would do that as well. It's not like we're going to be fawning in his favor to do this task for him.
What if it's a stitch
I think it makes sense that we would.
What?
Well,
what if
we're clowns?
But we're countering that. Even if it was a stitch up, we're telling her what we're doing. So obviously we're going in with good faith. Unless this pebble actually explodes.
Yeah, what if it explodes? What if we've been walking around with a bomb?
It'll be in the pocket dimension or whatever it's called.
Then it's not our problem anymore. Oh, we don't even have to be that descriptive. We need to say it's a magic eye. It could be anything. This is the Queen's problem.
Well, the Queen does have a wizard of her own, Lord Stolas.
I don't want to deal with any more court wizards.
Yeah, but maybe we could get him to cast some sort of explosive protection on her, or something like that.
The safest thing for us is to just
see Bellerin, Hank,
put it in.
Hey.
Good thinking.
Wizards unite.
Yes.
All right.
Coming along, you are, young man.
Yeah.
Put on a bit of weight.
Where do you keep your potions?
He pats you on the stomach. I would have thought that walk up there would have helped you burn some of that off, but you're going to be as...
I walked as little as I possibly could.
Yeah.
I see. Smart in many ways. You're too smart for your own good, Hank.
Now,
not in prison.
Valorant,
I'm not in prison.
Is alchemist thing a fire? Is alchemist fire a thing? Is what I meant to say then.
Yes, it is.
Fantastic. Do you have any?
Well, you're asking Balaran.
Yes.
Do I have alchemist? Why would I? Unless
you're an alchemist.
You would have to commission me to make that, and then I would begin to procure the things, the ingredients for it. It's not well loved by the city guards, as you can imagine. I can't be going about selling alchemist's fire to any old rogue that walks in my door.
How's about this rogue, and how's about not alchemist fire, but like a potion or a poison of sleep?
Not creepy at all.
Have a look around.
What are the most popular items while you're looking?
I could make you a potion of sleep. It would take me at least 24 hours for such a thing.
All right. Yeah. I'll take a potion of sleep, please. I'll even pay you for it this time. Don't think I've ever paid you for it.
I should hope so, shouldn't I? Hey, what?
What do you have stock standard?
Stock standard, I have some healing potions. I have some various cures. Out of game, give me a moment. Make some suggestions.
Water breathing potion.
Oh, yeah, so sleep potion. Water breathing potion exists.
I think they're going to be things that people in Vaingate need on a regular basis.
Yep. So sleep
potion that makes
potions,
people more charismatic.
That are legal.
Yeah. A potion that protects your clothes from shit.
Okay.
Fuck, that's quite difficult. I don't know. Luck, potion of luck. If that's a thing.
Oh, I'd say like a potion of repelling or something.
Oil of slipperiness.
Oil of slipperiness.
Is it flammable oil?
Potion of animal friendship.
Yeah, I think you're looking at the exact same page that I'm looking at.
I've got a whole bunch of them actually in the DM's guide.
Yep. Potion of giant strength, which he says, and we usually sell these to those in the masonry business for moving stones around.
I'll have a potion of giant strength if you, yeah. How much?
For you, he looks you up and down.
1,000 gold.
I give him finger guns.
And then I give you fridge guns. Finger fridges.
All right.
Hang on a minute. Actually, I have a list of things with prices.
And I'm in company with your buddy, Hank. So
Hey,
You've had an adventure with him before as well.
Do I? Yeah. What, do I not get buddy prices?
This is Ballarin's retirement we're talking about, Gimbal.
Okay,
Hank,
so your
Hank,
average potion of healing
pay
is
back.
typically going to be 50 gold. Okay, that's like a
50
normal,
gold.
50.
normal
Healing.
potion
Oh,
of healing.
Like magic potions are
Potion of greater healing, 150 gold.
I don't have that kind of money.
It's strapped for cash.
He says, I can make you water breathing for 180.
Yikes.
What about giant strength? You said you had some in stock.
Yes, yes.
How much?
Hold the line. He's still looking. Maybe I should just search this document. Really? It's not on the list.
Gimbal, I think you would probably benefit more from a potion of charisma than anything else.
I don't think I could get any more charming. Hank.
I'm going to go with 220 gold for a potion of giant strength.
My God, Ballarin, cut us some slack.
For you, I'll give it to you for half price, 110.
I have 100, and that's all I've got.
I thought we were doing all right.
Yeah.
You can owe it to me for later.
Okay, I'll give you 100 now. I'll pay the 15 at some other point. Actually, no. I'll give you
really
half
think
now.
this is worth it, Gimbal? It's literally everything you've got.
Potion
I'll go half. How about I give you? So it's 115. So
potions of speed for 400 gold.
How long does it last for?
24 hours.
Oh, okay.
What?
I feel like Gimbal
Is that
would do
you just said that? You literally just said that. You just
It's
literally just
potion
made
of
that
giant
up.
size. It's legendary. When you drink this potion, you become huge. So
Okay.
I grow and oh, that's giant size.
Yes.
Never
Yeah,
mind.
this is DM Tim over here.
Sorry, I misread it. I read potion of giant and I stopped reading further.
Yeah.
Oh, there it is.
So which one are we at? We're looking
1
for
hour. 1 hour potion of giant strength. Oh, it depends how rare it is.
Hey, Gimbal, I'll
Mm.
give you the 10 gold that you need. You can have that 10 gold. It's all right. You don't have to be owing because we may not even be back this way for a while. So yeah,
That's
I'd rather Ballarin has the gold in his pocket.
You
Yeah,
never
for
know when this
if
is
he
going to
needs
come in handy.
preparations,
Done.
you know.
And I slam my
an
gold
hour,
on the
though.
table.
And it's hard to find decent descriptions of potions. Yeah.
Potion of there's different varying. I've just found it, and there's varying
DM's
levels
guide.
of giant strength. So the uncommon one is potion of hill giant strength, and
Yes.
then rare goes to frost, stone, or fire. Very rare is cloud giant, and legendary is storm giant strength. So if it's just the hill giant one, then it's it'll boost my strength to 21 for an hour.
Wow.
Right,
What's
for an hour.
your strength already though?
13.
Right. Yep. So hill giant strength. Yes.
Your strength is 13, Gimbal.
Yeah, I'm not that strong. Look at me.
Oh man, I had no idea. I
Spindly.
thought you were the strongest of all of us.
No, he's
You
all
were tricky
sinewy
bug.
and
Yeah, I'm lean.
I think I've got the highest strength.
Right.
We're doing
lithe
it.
Yeah, you
and
must do,
sinewy and
It's
Uh,
interesting actually.
You
if
make it sound gross. It's
bony
good.
in all the wrong places.
Oh, that doesn't sound good.
if you watch people fire actual war bows, that ridiculous amounts of strength is actually required. It's not,
Yeah.
you'd think that the sword fighters would be the strong ones, but actually the archers have to be super strong too.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Like
That's
they
why they've got these big
have to
muscly
raise it
tank
up
arms. And
all the way up there before you can sort of load it and then lower it down onto your target. Yeah. Anyway, sorry.
I'm just looking at
Okay.
our money and I realized that I need to remove all the silver because we left it in Balkanad.
Yep. I'm removing all of my gold now.
I had to buy something.
How much money did we actually get?
I have a whopping 10 gold.
I thought it was 800 silvers that we got from Balkanad, right? Was it 800 or 400?
Oh, we got 600.
Which we then gave
gold.
back.
But no, for the wand. We got some wand money as well.
Oh, that's right. We got one money
that's
too.
what
so
I was using. That's what I had.
Sorry. Yeah, 150 each.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Was it 150? Oh, then I do have enough.
Oh, cool. I don't have to
We'll have
leave
that
shit.
back then, says Hank.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's say yes. Let's say yes.
150 gold
Potion
each.
of Hill.
All right.
All right.
Hmm.
Will that be
Okay.
all, says Balaran?
Yep, I'm good.
Did you get? Oh, what do I owe you for the sleep potion when you make it?
You will owe me 200 gold for that.
200. All right. Tell you what, I'll
I can lend you 50.
pay you 150 now and 50 gold later.
That seems reasonable. I know where you live.
Actually, I tell you what. Bellerin. Rather than that, I will give you 100 gold and this wand.
What?
Is everyone okay with it?
No, not for a
yeah.
potion. For a potion. That thing fires.
fair
I'm
enough.
going to give him a
Magic.
slap. I'll give you a little slap.
All
I'll
right,
let you all
okay.
have a think about it. I have to go and procure some of these items anyway. So
All right,
I-
well,
Thanks, Val.
make the potion up anyway, and we'll talk about that later.
yes.
So I don't need it. It's not that great, to be honest.
My God. Yeah, but don't just give away our magic stuff.
I'm
Yeah,
going
we
to go
will
and
get-
Someone else.
I need to go and purchase some winter sprig from another apothecary that I know. So I'll be back. You hold the fort here, will you, till I return?
Oh, we're going to run off.
We're going
Alright.
to go. Very
Yes,
well. We
but
shall
the-
lock
but
up.
the-
Then. We
yeah.
shall lock the place up.
Okay. All right.
All right. So he ushers you out of the building and he locks the door. And I
See
shall
you,
see you
Bellerin.
perhaps here around sunset, perhaps.
What time is it now?
Yeah, we'll be in Vangate for I don't know, at least a day. So
I'm guessing you guys stayed the night. That was the last I heard, actually. So I'm going to put it at 8 in the morning.
Alrighty.
In which case, I'm going to move the day from the 5th to the 6th.
Ooh.
Do you think the Queen does like morning,
oh, they probably eat so much.
no, not like breakfast, like morning meetings, morning
Visitors, morning
yes.
court.
Court, yeah, court.
Mm.
Morning court.
Well,
I
we're
would
just
say
going to
so.
go down there and kick the door down and announce ourselves
Mm.
Right.
with our titles preemptively.
Just like sorry.
Can you guys make intelligence checks, please?
Oh no.
There's my +0. Love it.
Oh,
Oh, 10.
at 20.
Delightful.
Nice.
Why am I so intelligent?
Why am I so unintelligent? Actually, I
About
know
exactly
why.
where I expected to be.
12.
Right.
+4.
Okay,
Yeah.
so Desire,
Four?
I'll Gimbal a 10. Tricky Bob, was it a nat 20, did you say?
And a -1.
Oh dear, -1. Okay, well, Tricky Bob, you remember that when you went to Greymoor, you met with the premonstrator Lord Duncan, who was the head of the wardens and has connections with the High Council of Vangate. And you know exactly where his office is. You've been there before. You've just returned from your journey, obviously, to Greymoor, and he might be connected enough to get you into the, something, might be able to assist you in some way.
Is he the guy that we liked?
He owes us money.
Why does he owe us money?
I don't think we like many people.
Because we went and took that mission and they said they'd pay us when we got back.
Oh, yeah, because we liked Duncan in the beginning and then we hated Oswald, but then we ended up liking Oswald and then we forgot about Duncan.
Sounds right.
Yeah.
Did we not get paid by Oswald for that job?
No, we got.
I mean, I don't have any money in my.
Actually, yeah.
I don't have any money right now. If we did get paid, I'm not carrying it.
But it wasn't Oswald's job. Oswald was just working there. It was
We
Duncan's
might have
job.
to start up a
tab.
sheet, tab
It's
for
all right.
in and out
Well, we'll take what we can, and we'll try and hustle what we could.
Transactions. It's not all right. We need to have some records here, even if they're out of game records, so that I can track them.
Yeah. So, Tricky Bob, you want to lead the way?
To Duncan's place. I don't know where he is, but let's go.
Well, Lord Duncan's place is not too far from you. In fact, it is in Ludovar, which is just beyond the Ansel Wall.
All right.
So there's sort of one way around that little corner.
Doop, doop, doop. Wait, is this wall passable?
No, you have to go around it. That's okay. You do.
Wait, like this way, or
Yeah,
all the way around?
No, you can go. You can go through. You can go through this. You have to go to here. To here. Why is that not pinging for me? Here we go. You can go to here and then through that hole.
Ah, I see. What was this wall that you said?
That's the wall.
I haven't
It has a name and a rich lore.
Oh yes, of course. The Ludovar, sorry, the Ansel Wall.
I put my hand on and go, the old Ansel Wall.
Right.
Why, I could tell you a thing or two about this.
You've probably tried to climb it at some point.
No, that's okay, Josiah. Let's keep going.
Did you know?
that wall actually, because it's next to the palatial district, it's quite close to the palatial district. There are arches on the roof, on the top of the wall. And there's a company of elven archers, arcane archers, who basically guard some of these walls around this particular district. Only around here, like only around the palatial district.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not uncommon. You've seen them fire magical arrows once or twice in your whole lifetime. Once might have even been in your direction because you guys were running away with some stuff.
What happens when you get hit by one of the magical arrows?
You burn.
Oh, okay.
Burst into flames. You don't cease to exist.
You have a very bad day. Yeah. Arcane arrow of refrigeration. Okay. So you go around the wall, you get to Ludovar. And in Ludovar, around this point here, I think, this building is where you will find Lord Duncan's office. See what
Who's doing the talking? I don't remember because I don't remember.
I'll do the talking. I stole his quill.
You did. I was going to mention that. You stole his quill.
That's who he is. Yes. I remember now. Very grouchy fellow.
It would be really funny if you returned it.
It was outside the front of his office where Hank witnessed the Daughters of Twilight parading past.
Yeah, this is outside his office. Yeah, we noted that.
Pretty sure the little girl has that thing. Very sure I gave it to her.
Yeah.
The quill?
The quill.
That sounds right, yeah.
I might wait outside.
Yeah.
I'm just going to be outside, taking in the scenery. The morning.
All right. Well, I'd like to approach the Lord Duncan.
Yep.
Yeah, I'd like to approach the residence. Is there any guards outside, or?
There are some guards outside. There's some soldiers standing there, and as you approach, they say, "State your business, sir."
We would like an audience with Lord Duncan. We are returning from Greymore on a mission he sent us many months ago.
Of course, sir. Do you have any certificates or other papers to prove your claim?
Yep. I fish through my pockets and I present the
front side, but not the back side.
No, they're all folded up, and yeah. So there's scribbles on there. There's 2 drawings of werewolves, I recall.
Right.
And I think we drew something else on there at one point, but I can't remember what that was.
We used it to trace the symbols and the obelisk room.
That's right, we did. Okay, so I'm gonna ruffle through them.
Make sure we can keep those.
Yeah, so I'm gonna ruffle through them and give the one that we didn't have werewolf drawings or the ruins. The ruins on.
All right. So you pull it out and you show it to him. That does look authentic, sir. He lifts up a whistle from around his neck, and he gives it a short. And you hear some guards from inside come out. So 4 guards come down the stairs, These fellows here would love to escort you to Lord Duncan.
4 guards. Wow. Okay. Yep. Seems a little suspicious, but certainly. Who's coming with me?
I'll come with you.
Yeah, why not?
All right,
says,
Gimbal, you staying outside?
Probably last time you were here, you didn't have such high security as we have now, but you'll realize that things have changed in Vangate.
Why is
I'm
that?
gonna talk to the guards. I'll hang with the guards.
There's been a lot of trouble around here lately. We've had. He looks around over his shoulder. We've had some incidents, magical incidences, monsters.
Fiends coming from below the city, killing
Did you
guards.
see any of them?
Oh, I can't confirm none of that, sir. I can't confirm none of that.
Okay,
But
well
did
maybe
you see anything, like with your own eyes, or is it all just?
I didn't see nothing, but I do know that some of my comrades in arms have gone missing, so to speak, not come back. So
where were they stationed when they disappeared?
Palatial district, so not far from here.
Wow. Right.
A few blocks away, sir.
Damn.
Indeed.
That's
Indeed. Yes.
All right, well, take us to Duncan.
Right, so the guards take you up the stairs and they open the doors and they take you down the hallway through to a waiting room. Lord Duncan's in another room and you can see him there and he looks over to you. He goes, "Come in," he says as he's writing on some scroll. And he stamps it. "Yes, and what can I do?" "Ah, the adventurers from, where was it I sent you again? Was it
Frostmoor?
Greymoor. Yes, do come. So you've returned.
Indeed. You would have probably heard about our exploits before we got here.
Something about werewolves, was it not?
Yes, 2 werewolves, 2 dead werewolves.
You've slain them then.
We slayed one, and then we encouraged the townsfolk to take matters into their own hands. So what you could say is we
Yes.
helped them help themselves.
Let me just look at the contract I gave you again. What does it say here? In the name of Her Royal Highness Queen Clareska of Skartabel, Empress of the Northern Skyreach, the Supreme Regent, blah, 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 Council of the High Wardens. So-and-so, that's you, is hereby appointed under official contract to the Order of Crown Justice, that's me, to respectfully assume the title and responsibilities of a civil justice warden, that's you again, for a period of 1 year and 1 day. Being assigned to the municipality of the township of Greymoor within the Northern Sky Reaches of the Kingdom of Muldrere alone, or until such time as the matter of civil, or until such time as the matter of civil unrest is at said locale has been settled in righteous justice and according to law.
And I think you'll find that settled in righteous justice in accordance to the law, it has been.
I see, but you say you did not slay the second of these werewolves. You asked the townsfolk to do your job for you.
Oh, no. We were busy slaying one of the other werewolves, but my good friend Gimbal, who's not presently with us, I'm pretty sure he helped.
Gimbal? And where out of game, where's Gimbal?
He's downstairs. He didn't want to come inside.
I was just out with the guards. I was just chin-wagging with the guards.
Where is your associate, Gimbal?
Gimbal gets antsy inside buildings. He prefers the outdoors.
Does he just?
What else? They're a peculiar bunch.
So that much I can attest to. Thus signed by the Right Honourable Lord Duncan, Premonstrative Justice Lord. That's me again. Very well. So you say it's been done?
It's been done and dusted.
I see. Well, I have had word that our dear tax collector has returned.
Oswald Grimm, we made his acquaintance. Close friends now.
Oh, good. Glad. And I am going to request an audience with that fellow, probably this afternoon, if possible, whereupon he can confirm your actions, and then we'll be able to pay you out.
Sounds only fair, Duncan. We've actually come on other matters.
Truly? What
Truly.
other matters are these?
Well, on our way back down from Greymoor, we happened to stumble into the court of Lord Balconard. And while we were there, we ran a few errands, hunted a couple ogres, and stumbled upon potential drow incursion into his lands. And from there, we've been asked to present the following scroll request for aid to the Queen.
Treatise.
Yes.
Do you hand it over to him at that point?
No. That's up to Josiah, I suppose. Who even has it?
It'll be in the bag of holding, I assume. So
Okay.
I'll reach around, since I seem to carry it most of the time, and mutter under my breath, Queen Scroll.
Bunk. Yep.
And I'll hand it over to him.
Can you make a deception check?
Yeah, sure thing.
Oh yeah, because this guy probably saw you mutter something into a bag.
And then pull out a scroll bigger than the bag.
Oh no. Okay.
Hold it up really well.
You say deception?
Bag of Mary Poppins.
Deception.
How big is the bag and how big is the scroll? Because now I'm picturing a scroll that's like the
That's a
size of a
little
map.
piece of paper.
Scrolls come in scroll cases.
Okay.
17.
Right? 17. Okay. All right.
Pretty good.
All right.
That's
You
pretty
turn
good.
around and you reach around, and he's not really paying that much attention to you. He's looking at his desk and his stuff anyway. Okay, and you pass it over, do you, or do you just open it for him? Or
I open it for him.
Okay.
And then I pass it over. So I think you find everything in there.
I see.
Then I cast my eye over it while he's looking at that. What was he looking at on his desk?
He's writing some orders for a group of soldiers to head off presently south of Vane Gate to the Rolling Hills to examine some farmhouses down there that apparently have been ransacked by some thieves.
Okay. Yep. Hand the scroll over.
Now, this out of game, I think the scroll also would have a seal on it, but it might have a note on the outside of it so that you don't have to break the seal. So it's like a scroll with a scroll.
Yep.
So you give him that, and he looks at the seal, and this does indeed seem to be Lord Balconard's seal. I can't argue with that, and you say this is for Queen Clareska.
So Balconard is in quite dire straits at the moment, and they do need some reinforcements. I think Balconard's probably
ogres, you say?
Not ogres, drow.
Drow. Haven't been seen in hundreds of years. What is this nonsense?
Oh, we saw them.
Yeah, we
You saw them.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Well, I'm curious if I'm to make a petition to Queen Clareska for your audience, and obviously you have the scroll here, which is a good start. Do you have anything else that might prove your point here that I can use to leverage the situation so that she might be even more likely to consider talking to you sooner than later?
Now you see, Hank, this is why we didn't sell the wand. Present the wand.
Yeah. All right. Fair enough.
We got rid of the coins, Tricky Bob. Yep.
And what is this?
Hank draw reluctantly, because he'd much rather give it to Ballerin, who he knows is going to use it for his own safety in these troubling times. Just partly why I wanted to give it to him, by the way.
Yep.
Hank reluctantly draws the wand, and he passes it to the fella. He says, "We found this in and around the area where we saw drow overseeing a goblin camp with ogres."
You'll find it's a Shadakai wand.
He looks up at you.
Any magician or wizard will recognize this as an artifact of the Shadakai.
He says, "This does. I've seen these in a little somewhere. Give me a moment." He goes over to the library in the corner and goes through some books, pulls out some things, and pulls out
the scholar, this diplomat.
Look at this. Yes, Shadakai. I tend to agree that there's a high probability that is what this is. I will indeed use this to gain some leverage on your behalf.
Wouldn't mind it back.
Of course, sir. I don't intend to keep it. This is yours by rights, is it not?
It is.
Very well. I shouldn't take such a thing from... he looks at you, he says, "You don't take me for a thief, do you?"
Absolutely not. But
no.
We have had experiences in the past where mages become overjealous.
Of course. Well, I am but a humble administrator.
I'm sure it wouldn't be for you to take, but there are other mages who you might show it to.
Well, it would be true that I will most likely need to present it before the court. And there is a possibility that someone may choose to exercise their nobility in such a way. But in any case, I shall make it clear that this is, by rights, belongs to the messenger.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. When can we expect word on when we can have this audience?
I shall write up a message immediately and send it to, I think not. I think I shall go myself. We have a small council meeting this morning at 11. So in 3 hours, I should be meeting with the small council, and then we shall see whether I have admission to speak with the Queen herself. I think that you should be waiting with us at the meeting in the waiting room, so that when the meeting is adjourned, or even during the break, I can come and inform you of the outcome.
All right.
Sounds good.
Anyone got any objections?
Nope.
Yeah, rubbing elbows with the bourgeois.
My favorite.
Very well. He looks around at you and he says, and you? He looks at Hank, he says, you should stay sober for the rest of the day.
Hey,
The irony of it was that Phil was raising his glass just as that came out. That's hilarious. Okay. Right, out of game. Going to go powder my nose. Be right back.
Yep.
What is that code for?
Do a big line of Coke.
Oh, it's not.
That's it. That's it. Yeah. Okay, we're ready to go and see the Queen.
Yeah. Got so many adventures lined up for you guys. It's gonna be great.
Oh no, he's gonna see this recording.
No, that's good. I hope he
as if he could
hope he
watch the
looks
whole
back
thing
on
again.
this. Yeah, I watched them. I rewatched them.
Really? The whole thing?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Well, because I not all at once. I put them on while I'm cooking.
Oh, that's nice.
Nice.
Yeah. So I do these and I do the Vangate Chronicles as well. I've started from the beginning, which is
you're spoiling your own story.
A little bit, yeah. Kind of, because I've stopped listening in on the Fridays. I kind of want to still, for the support.
I mean, aren't all the elves in that group? Aren't they all descendants of the evil elves? Not drow.
Two of them are. Yeah, two of them are
I think so,
Blackguard.
Yeah. What the fuck? They're Blackguard.
I think they're like not cut from the same cloth.
Yeah, they're not like us, Tim. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. The Vangate Chronicles, the latest episode is so far removed from where I am at the very beginning that it doesn't really make a difference.
Okay. Oh, they're over in a prison, weren't they?
They are now.
Yeah.
We were at a dinner party last time.
They were having a lovely dinner party and then they went to a prison.
We all got
I
arrested
haven't
at a
gotten to
dinner
the prison
party.
part, actually.
I think it was just a nice night. Yeah.
Yeah.
We get a little bit too rowdy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a bit of sieges. That's about it.
Right. So you guys leave Lord Duncan's for now?
Yeah.
All right.
Well, we're going with him to the meeting, aren't we?
Yeah, how are we leaving?
Well, the meeting's not for 3 hours, so he tells you where it's going to be held. He tells you where the council chambers are, and they're just around the other side of this block. So not very far from here, literally hundreds of meters.
Okay. Are you going to return that book to its bookshelf, Lord Duncan?
Is that you? What sort of question is that?
I was just asking. I was just curious. Seems like a very old and valuable tome.
He says, I may take it with me to the meeting.
Ah, that's smart. Very smart. Yeah.
Why do you ask?
I was just curious, Duncan. I was just curious.
Gives you this very long look,
a
little bit suspiciously.
Anyway, we'll meet you at the small council.
Very well.
Yeah.
I'll see you then. All right. So long story short, you guys have about 3 hours to kill.
Should we go to the daughters?
No. Here's what we're gonna do. Mr. Guard, what was your name?
The guard that you're talking to, his name is, excuse me while I consult my notes briefly. He says his name is Gareth Ainslaw.
All right. Gareth, would you have any free time at all right now? Could you give us a little escort to the Palatial district?
Guards having free time.
Or would you have anyone that could show us where the recent incident happened? You mentioned there was some ambushes in the Palatial district.
He says, listen, friend, this business that we have discussed should not be getting out. I told it to you in good faith.
Yeah, but what if we can resolve it for you? And we'll put it, if we find anything and
Let me
say
ask
anything,
you something.
we can say it was under your...
Who are you to resolve this? Are you some sort of hero?
Of course. Look at me.
He looks,
I put my hands on my hips.
What are you wearing right now?
Didn't we change into summer clothes? Like, wouldn't Gimbal look like a bit of a dandy?
No, but he'd still have a sword, shield, and bow, right?
Sword, shield, bow. But I remember in the last in Balkanard, I got ripped off into buying really fancy clothing. So I'm wearing my fancy getup.
So you're a dandy at the moment.
Kind of.
Yes, I am the greatest hero in the world.
Yeah, that. Let's go with that.
So you're gonna make a persuasion check.
Sir Gimbal the Unquenchable.
18.
Gimbal the Unquenchable.
He looks you up and down. He goes, like, so you and who? You
Me
by
and
yourself?
My companions who were just let inside. I think
The ones that just went past here just now. That dwarf and those other two.
Yeah, that's right. Off to see Lord
the
Duncan.
roguish looking fellas.
So what exactly are you looking for here? You want me to
I'd like
take time off my duties?
Or if you had someone that could direct us to, or if you could give me clear enough directions to the nearest sighting of this.
The locations, listen, the locations have been locked down. Nobody's allowed there right now.
Could you get us permission?
Couldn't get you permission, so I couldn't go there myself.
Okay.
Just, listen, if you truly want to see that location, if you really are a hero, you might be able to sneak in there, but be warned that the Barakyle envoy have posted their own guards.
Ugh.
And they're not just guards, from what I've heard. Not just guards at all.
No. They're royal pains in the ass. Okay. Can you, well, all right. Leave it with us. You don't have to tell me anymore. If you can just tell us the locations.
What I understand is that there's politics at stake here, sir. Like, we guards, the city guards, the municipality guards here, we've been kind of forced out. And honestly, I don't think our captain's too happy about that.
Well, I don't see why these wizards can just keep going to whatever town they want, doing whatever they want. Surely they're only allowed one wizard in the city, like up in Balkanard. Okay, where's the captain?
Captain, you want to talk to the captain? Captain's a guard. Well, okay. Perhaps it's good to explain how this all works. All right. So, an out of game, Hank and Josiah, you probably already know these things, but obviously Kimball wouldn't know these because he's new around here. But each of the three main citadels has a guard commander, one guard commander. Each of the three main citadels has a master of the watch. There are 3 captains in each citadel. There are 6 corporals in each citadel. There are 15 lieutenants in each citadel. There are about 25 sergeants in each of the 3 citadels. There's about 120 guardsmen in each of the citadels. And there's anything from 3 to 30 new recruits at any given time. Each of the citadels has 3 armorers, a quartermaster, dog handlers, messengers, and there's a number of different. A watch patrol will usually consist of a lieutenant, up to 4 watchmen, up to 4 recruits, and up to 4 dogs. The head of the entire guard is the crown commander, and that's the throne's loyal and personal guard. the Crown Guard. They work specifically for the Queen. Okay, so that's the general gist of it. But you have the Guard and you have the Watch, and these two things are different. So the Lord High Steward of Vaingate sits on the High Council and answers to the court, the nobles, and the crown. The Guard protects the city from intruders, spies, and major threats. The Watch protects citizens from each other and minor internal threats.
Watch is like police. The Guard is like CIA, FBI type stuff.
Exactly.
Well, which captain is this Guard referring to then? The one that's getting frustrated? Are they talking about? They're not talking about the royal captain, are they, or is it the captain of the Watch?
So the captain of the Watch. We're talking
I'd like
about.
to go. Yeah, if he can direct us to him, that'd be good.
All right.
Gimbal just wants us to get into some combat this round.
To the sewer. I feel like this is a sewer time.
Every time.
No.
It would be really cool to rock up like in nice clothes that are just completely like tattered and slimy to the Queen.
Well, if we go down here, we might be able to mess with the Barakar, which should be fun. I'm all for it. I think it's great. Also, I want to know what they are, what the monsters are.
I wouldn't mind knowing that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you also know that each of the three citadels has a steward who's like the mayor. Okay, and the mayor, if you like, the steward of Carcanos, which is the location where you are right now, is a lady called Lady Finton Dundar, who also has an office in these municipalities that may be approached in much the way that Lord Duncan has been approached. She's a public figure. So you can potentially find your way to her. The person that you're looking for, however, the Master of the Watch, the Master of the Watch in this particular citadel is, one moment, please, Marshal Rex Navarre.
That's a good name. That's a good one.
Marshal Rex Navarre.
Alrighty. Where can we find Marshal Rex? Is he nearby?
He tells you
King.
he is, yes, he's in the palatial district.
Perfect.
On the south side, between the center palatial district and the Barakyle Envoy. You'll see there's a cluster of buildings.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I see it. So pretty close to where we are, actually.
About there.
So
yeah,
about
very close to where you
there.
are.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. If the other guys, if everyone else is with me by now.
I assume we are because we came down out to the outside, right? Just
Yeah, so you guys can come out about this point. That makes sense.
You weren't really looking to steal some books, were you?
I was actually hoping to pitch a quill just for old time's sake. I was just going to see if I could get him to walk back to the bookshelf and grab the quill as he was writing the letter, but I thought it was pretty risky.
He's
considering I was halfway through a letter.
I could have helped you with that.
He's got his eye on you.
Yeah.
He doesn't trust you as far as he can throw you, but he knows that you could be useful.
He did say he'd wipe my rap sheet as well.
That's true. That's true. They might have to remind him about that.
Yeah, I'm not too fast. I think just likes his the list of his achievements that he leaves in every city he goes.
Does he just?
Yeah.
Okay.
So Gimbal's made a friend.
All right.
Who's your friend?
So we head down to see him.
This is the guy.
What does Tricky think about this whole meeting with?
Well, let's have you guys play this out because I don't think you actually had this conversation yet.
How did it all go? Onto the Queen.
Well,
so Gimbal thinks that you guys have got an appointment with the Queen because he didn't sit through the conversation with Duncan.
Okay. Yes. Yeah. In 3 hours, we will meet Duncan at the small council. So I've got 3 hours to kill in Vaingate.
Okay. Well, is there anything anyone wanted to do in particular for the next 3 hours? Because I've got a thing. Me and Gareth have got an idea.
What's your thing?
No. I don't
Who's
have
Gareth?
anything to do with this.
This is
says
Gareth.
Yeah, who's
He's
Gareth?
I'm
You member of the
Gareth.
party,
Just-
Gareth?
Is this
Welcome
another one
aboard.
of your?
He's
No,
staying
this-
here.
is this
sir,
another one of your
I'm one of
hijinks, Gibble?
Lord Premonstrator Duncan's personal bodyguards.
Exactly.
And
He's
I have
not a
nothing
he's
to
not.
do with you.
No.
Welcome to the party, Gareth.
I have merely suggested.
Welcome to the party.
I'm the
a
brains
course
of the
action.
operation.
Look,
Tricky Bob down there.
stop it
She's the
at once, or I will have you removed from this property.
All right, that's fine. That's fair. Anyway, thanks, Gareth. Well, Gareth was saying we could go talk to about these mysterious ambushes and encounters in the city. We could go talk to the Marshal Rex, and he's not too far from here. We can go talk to him and see if we can get into one of these sites, because apparently the Barakar are getting in their faces, and we can then play like, because we're not members of their guard, then maybe we got more options available to them.
Yeah.
We got nothing but time to kill. Tricky Bob, what do you think?
We've got
Well,
3
I don't
hours.
know. Should we prepare for a meeting with the Queen? I think I need to kind of like, prepare my speech, prepare what I'm going to talk about, what I'm going to wear, what else? God, do I have to make eye contact with them?
I feel like
I thought we just wing
if
it.
we're adventurers, should probably understand that we're pretty crass.
Mm.
No, it's the opposite of what we want to do, right? I think like you guys look like mess. You guys look like absolute garbage. So
Have
maybe
you looked at my
except
clothes?
you look fine, but the rest
Thank
of
you.
you.
You know what I'm going to do when I get in there? I'm going to spit on the floor.
Oh, God. Okay, maybe you shouldn't go. Even
I'm
I
gonna
think that's
Can
good.
you imagine
I'll go separately. Can I go
The-
separately?
the fame you'd get being the person who spat on the floor in the Queen's court?
I'm sure they get a lot of that. That's why it's a court. They get low lives in there.
Oh, yeah.
Out of game, I have a funny story about spitting on floors. But
Go ahead.
I had a job when I was working in Hollywood, acting in a Scientology production.
Oh,
Wow.
And so I had to go out to the Scientologist's big complex. And so I was playing this psychiatrist who was like this evil psychiatrist. 'Cause they hate psychiatry, right? And so
It's like
the director was like, okay, we want you all to do this thing where you look at the camera and you show these other characters on the other side of this glass wall, because we were like, we had these, long story short, there was people on the other side who were our patients, and we were they also represented like essentially any kind of Scientologist point of view. And so we had to show them the most amount of disdain we could. So they wanted us to bring across disdain for these characters. So I spat on the floor and they fucking loved it. So I literally got to spit on the floor of the Scientologists and they liked it.
Gross.
wow.
That's
Yeah.
super cool.
It was hilarious.
But also screw Scientology.
But they wanted me to, so what could I do?
Mm.
But
Yeah.
Anyway, that was my story. Sorry about
Did you
that.
see Tom
Good
Cruise?
story.
I
Nice.
did
Good
not
story.
see Tom Cruise, but I believe he has been in those exact studios. So that was
He was
cool. Ah.
jumping on a couch in the background. We just
Yeah.
zoomed in,
yeah, they had the most crazy
jumping all over
security.
furniture.
Anyway, I will probably get sued for publishing this on
Yeah.
YouTube now.
Been
The
nice
good
knowing
point.
you all.
Yeah, good point, yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah. I will just join up, right? Yeah.
I
Anyway,
mean, to be fair on the Scientologists, they were the most professional film crew I've ever worked for. And they were extremely nice people. They were very nice people, and they were very kind to us. The only thing that was weird is they were super anal about their security. Super
Yeah.
anal. Like it was a bit too much. Yeah.
Hmm.
interesting.
Super nice, but
They
don't
had-
cross us.
Maybe
but
they had
you're great.
aliens on the property somewhere. So
Yeah, maybe.
anyway, okay,
All right.
back to the vein
Right.
gate business.
Well,
So it,
how long
uh,
does Tricky need to get ready? How long would you need to get ready? Well, like, I mean, we don't need to do a speech, right? We just hand her the letter and say,
We need to do a practice run.
we had to do a
probably.
thing.
I'll give it an hour. You look,
Yeah,
you look
I
okay.
was thinking maybe we could just like give it to her and say, hey, this is the thing.
Well, we don't have to go into the sewer yet.
We don't even know if
I'm
we're going
not-
to see the Queen.
No
anyway.
going to the sewer
Yeah.
before we
What-
go to
what's this
see the
about the
Queen.
sewer?
I
What's
just
the
want to
sewer?
go.
No
I just wanna
sewers.
I just want to go talk to the captain. and
Why is
see
the
if we
captain
can-
in the sewer?
He might be.
Why is the
in this-
captain in the sewer?
I figure that's where crime happens.
I would also imagine that crime would be happening in the sewer. But look,
See, and he's sneaky boy.
None of the crime that I've done has been in the sewer. The sewer's yuck.
Good
At the
crime is
time
sewer.
we threw a barge at the
I was
loved
not
it.
there for that.
Oh yeah, you weren't. Yeah.
Don't worry about it. He was into it.
That one time.
all right, let's go investigate anyway. We need to go know what's going on. We've got some time to kill. We can talk about what we're going to say to the small
3
council.
hours. We can spend half of that investigating.
Yep.
Right. Okay.
Small council is before the queen anyway. We don't even know if we're going to go see the queen.
But we need to see the queen. Isn't the
Mm.
whole
Yeah.
point where we're going?
I'm not going to go see the queen.
It's an attempt to see the queen, right?
Mm,
We can break in. If not, it's fine.
Where are we
yep,
heading?
breaking
Gimble?
in.
South, just over here, towards the Palatial district.
It's pretty close, right?
Yeah.
Is it? Yeah. Okay.
All right.
All right.
Make our
Let's
way.
go.
Goop, goop.
Chomp, chomp, chomp.
Doop, doop, doop.
I'm actually moving my token on the map.
Oh shit! Yeah, that's a good idea.
Ah.
Oh, well, you moved too
Mhm.
far. It's over here. I've caught you
Where am
back.
I?
Oh man.
Oh no, we left
Nice.
Hawksmoor behind.
Hogsmore's just flying
We're not messing
around.
with them right now. Yeah.
She's swooping and sitting on stuff and having a good old time. All right, here we go.
Good. As long as we didn't abandon her.
No. Oh, never. Plus, I can dismiss her and recall her within 2 actions.
So this is the
She's-
nicest area of Vangate, right?
It is. It is.
Are people looking at us strange for walking
I
around
look
here?
good.
Is it like
There are
Are
a
you guys?
few sideways glances at you, but I mean, there's like palanquins going past, people
Mm.
being carried and things. There's carriages, or not so much carriages because it's a bit out of period, but wagons and things.
yeah?
Should we get?
I-
Just
I have
grab-
I have a question about these palanquins. It's got to be a status thing, right? Like these guys have figured wheels out by now.
Oh,
I
yeah.
just wanted. What can we
Yeah.
get a
But-
palanquin?
As I say, there's wagons, but it's
Like-
palanquins are just common. It's
Is
just
it
that-
better to
Right,
be in
okay.
one to meet the queen? Should we get one? Should we get some of these?
I wouldn't feel good riding a flank when
I don't want to be
being
Alright,
carried by
alright,
other
but
people.
What if you guys carried it and I was in it?
There are two types. There are 2 types of palanquins, two major divisions, and the first division are the ones that are poor people renting themselves out on a daily basis, like rickshaw drivers do in
Right.
India.
where it's got wheels, but
it's got
like,
wheels, but well, no, I mean, I'm saying they're renting themselves out
Yeah,
as palanquin carriers, so you can
Yeah.
hire 4 people to carry you around and just pay them on a daily basis, and they get paid a decent amount of money. They don't mind. It's what they're getting paid to do. It's a job.
How much?
They're not looking. They don't see themselves as being looked down upon. It's just a job to them.
Mm.
not
Um,
important, Gimbal.
But you'd have to pay them a reasonable amount of money. It'd be like a gold
Maybe I
a
wanna
day or
know.
something. They're
Oh,
making
Jesus.
good bank doing this, and they're strong and they know how to dress and they know the way around the city and they walk in very specific manner, so they don't trip over and drop you and cause you to break your teacup while you're sipping tea in the palanquin. They manage to keep you on a level when you're going up and down stairs. This type of stuff. They're quite skilled. And they manage to make it look easy, which it's not. So they're actually kind of trained at this. Then you get the ones who are essentially slaves. And this is where you get the Barakyle envoy have these slaves. They have diplomatic immunity, so they're able to keep slaves.
Mm.
So how much do these guys get paid?
The actual
One gold
palanquin,
each.
For
a gold each,
Campbell.
a gold each for a
I
day.
can't, that's too rich for my
All
blood.
day. That's
I'm not spending 4 gold just to get carried around. It's fine. It's fine.
Mm.
Cool. So we're going to this. We knock on the door, right?
Right. So you're going to the Master of the Watch's offices. Is that right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
And as usual, there's some soldiers outside, and you say we're here to see Marshal Rex Navarre, something to that effect.
Yes, please.
All right. They take you through to a courtyard around the back of the building where he's currently drilling a group of new recruits, and you have to wait for him to finish. He's giving them a bit of a slap around, telling them how sloppy they are. They straighten up their uniforms, making sure that their buckles are polished properly, their boots are, dirty. You're standing incorrectly. That's not how you salute. Gives them a bit of a slap. And then after he's done with this business, that particular troop marches off, and your current escort, a soldier, goes over to him and says something to him quietly, and he turns around and comes wandering in your direction. And here you stand in the sun in the early morning light, casting 2 shadows from the second sun, of course, in this large dusty courtyard, very bright light reflecting off the white sand that is covering this training yard. There are a number of target dummies around the edges of the zone that you're in. some horses and what have you. And he stands before you in a blue uniform with his helmet under his arm. And he says, "I'm Marshal Rex Navarre."
Very good to meet you, Marshal. I'm Gimbal. This is Josiah, Hank, Trickybog. We're adventurers briefly in town for a meeting with the Queen, and we've just come and heard there's recent incidents in the Palatial District, random attacks, kidnappings, murders. We were just wondering if you would be what the situation is, and if you could use any help with it at all.
Adventurers, you say? What kind of adventurers do you claim to be?
Mercenaries. Simplest way to put it, I think. Right.
What kind of adventurers are there? Is this bog standard adventurers?
Well, I mean, we could be like people who walk into nature and go and look at the sights.
Yeah,
that would be nice.
We keep it pretty loose,
Trampers,
Marshal, but I guess if you were to name us right now, I would say mercenaries.
Ogre slayers. We're ogre slayers is what we are at the moment.
Monster hunters.
Can you each make an insight check?
Yeah, monster hunters. I like that. Great game too. Insight
I like
check.
the cats.
Yeah, me too.
I put everything into my spiel, and so it's a 4.
Oh, living.
10 for me.
What's
10 for you?
Oh, that's a good one actually. Insight and
Get, Hank?
17.
Hank, you have the impression that this guy is actually less interested in what's coming out of your mouths than he seems to be more interested in watching how you interact with each other. Like he's listening to your banter. He's looking at how professional you are or how unprofessional you are, how you come across to him and how you come across to one another. Like, what is your interaction like? He's not interested in what you have to say. He doesn't care what kind of adventurers you are. That's just a leading question to get you to talk.
Yeah, gotcha. So he's clever.
You get that impression.
Yes. All right.
Cool. Are we all still ranting? I think we're all still ranting.
I think Gimbal's probably ranting. So I have this impression. I say, Gimbal, just give us a moment, mate. So forgive my wood elf friend. He talks too much.
I gotta stroll off. I'm gonna go look at the recruits.
He also sings too much too.
Hold. You come back here. Stand your ground.
Okay.
He also walks too much. Did I mention that too? Look, we've the 4 of us have been battle tested. We've come back from Greymoor, where we defeated some werewolves. We've come back from Balkanard. We're in their employ at the moment, actually awaiting a meeting with the Queen.
With the
Queen. Hopefully.
It
hasn't been certified yet. However, we have some pretty. Let's not get into that. But we did hear that you were having some issues, and we thought we'd like to lend a hand.
I was having some issues. That's what you heard.
The city of Vane Gate was having some issues.
Who told you that?
Everyone's talking about it.
Actually, no. Specifically,
it was your guard, Gareth.
Gimbal, I thought you were going away for a little walk.
They wouldn't let me. Coming back.
No, it was actually my employer, I suppose you'd say, and mentor, Balarin the Buoyant. He's an apothecary.
So which is it, Gareth, my guard, or Balarin the Buoyant? Or am I to assume
Balarin?
Both.
He's Balarin the Buoyant.
I do not know this Balarin, but I will find him if it's necessary.
He's Balarin the Buoyant. He's an apothecary. He's also a wizard, quite talented wizard. But I can assure you, he only has what's best for Vangated Heart. He mentioned to us that there were some interesting goings on in the city, and we thought that it might be useful if we made ourselves known to you.
So you are volunteering to join the watch. Is that what you're saying?
No, we're volunteering our services outside of the purview of the watch.
So you wish to be paid. Is that what you're saying?
Definitely.
So you're looking to make money off of our misfortune.
We don't need to be paid. We
just want to help.
No,
really.
I want to be paid. I don't need to be paid a lot.
We heard the Barakyle wizards were getting in your way, and they've started in.
But
from what I've seen so far, you
cover our expenses.
Are a ragtag bunch with less discipline between you than that set of new recruits that just marched off.
And could you send that set of new recruits into the Barakyle envoys area to search out these horrible things in the Palatial District?
Now, I apologize for my colleagues. I think they're kind of speaking out of line here, but
and who are you? What's your name?
I am Tricky Bob Stoneheart, and I am a senior cleric of the Church of Moradin.
I see. And I am just here to apologize for their behavior. They don't mean to be rude and intrusive. They're just here to ask you some questions respectfully. Respectfully, yes. Yeah.
Sort of mutters.
No one's being disrespectful here.
I mean, I was respectful. I'm getting less respectful by the minute.
Gimble.
You say that, Gimble?
Yes.
Oh.
No, I would say that.
Okay.
No.
We got to put that dice more into power. You know that Gimble dice that we keep talking about.
I don't think that was even rollable. I would say that.
I wanna whisper to Gimble. Gimble, show him how good you are. Fire a bow right at the head of the dummy.
All right, fine. I'm going to sigh, and then I'm going to stand to attention, pull out my bow, and take take a shot. Take a shot at one of the furthest target.
You just take a shot in the
take a
middle
shot.
of
Okay,
drills.
so while you're having this conversation, Gimble pulls out his bow to do this. The guard, this guy that you're talking to, he immediately pulls out his short sword.
No.
So you can make a Dex and Athletics check. In fact, you know what? Better than that. Just make it an initiative roll.
Okay.
Oh,
All of us or just Gimble?
Just Gimble.
That's a 6.
It's a 6. Okay, well, before you get your arrow knocked, the short sword is at your throat. Easy, young man.
Yes, you're right. I say that in game.
What are you planning to do with that arrow?
Show my disciplined marksmanship as a Moonbrook Ranger, but never mind.
You may choose to do that when asked. But seeing as you're so intent, he lowers the blade. Go ahead.
Thank you. All right. Yep. I'll take pop shot. And...
Rolls of natural
19.
One. Oh, no.
It wasn't a 1.
A 19, eh?
Mm.
Look here. Wow. Okay. You hit the bullseye.
I feel a smug little smile and put my bow away.
Impressive. Can you hit a moving target too?
Of course.
I see. How many sentient creatures have you killed?
Oh, I've lost track actually.
What was your training?
Yeah. How many goblins did we kill?
Trained as a Moonbrook Ranger up in the
Banakayan Mountains.
The Banakayan Mountains. And more recently, after joining these fellows, my companions, we've slain ogres, we've slain goblins, we've slain a drow assassin. We may be rough around the edges, but we're good in a scrap.
I see. Well, I'll take that under consideration. He looks you over. Whereabouts will you be staying if I need you?
Elrin's house.
Valorant is in...
Do you have an address for this location?
What's
He's
the,
an
what's the
apothecary.
name of Valorant shop?
Bellerin Apothecaries Incorporated. No, limited, actually. He's not stupid enough to be incorporated.
I don't think
at
we
that
have
size.
I don't think we have corporations and limited liabilities companies at this point. So he's just
if you did, he would be
apothecary.
limited liability too.
All right.
Well, sole trader.
Sole trader.
Yeah.
Special tax considerations.
Yeah.
So if he needs them, fucking charges.
We don't need to add that as an element into this game.
He's going to start his own religion so that he can be tax free.
Well, I mean, the Daughters of Twilight did it. Why not?
Church of Ballaran.
Yeah, that's got a ring to it. Church of Ballaran.
The Church of Hank.
Even better. All right.
And I take it that each of you are as equally skilled as your Moonbrook Ranger here.
So I cast. I was actually going to do this earlier, but everyone was talking. I cast my mage hand. Yeah, ledge domain, so nobody can see it. Yeah, invisibly. And the sword, the short sword, is it still in the hand of the person that is wielding it?
He's holding it. Yeah.
Does he have any other weapons that are sheathed?
Yeah, he's got a dagger.
I'd like to try and with my mage hand, I'd like to take his dagger from his side wherever it is.
Okay, so you're going to make a legerdemain stealth check, a sleight of hand check.
Sleight of hand check, I believe.
This is going to be with your proficiency and your expertise this time, I understand.
Well, actually, no. Sleight of hand, I don't have expertise in, but thieves' tools, I do.
Okay, I see. Okay.
Yep. So that doesn't apply here.
Okay. Very good. So make your check.
It's 13.
13.
Yeah. Not great, but not terrible. Yeah.
Yeah, he almost catches you.
Okay.
You think you've got him. You think you got it.
All right.
What do you do with the dagger once you snuck it out from behind? It's sort of, you move it out of the pocket, out of the sheath, and then around behind him.
So of the dagger's in the mage hand at the moment.
Yeah. And the dagger is visible, right? Despite being
the dagger's visible. It's behind his head.
Okay.
At the moment, pointing downwards, being held by my thing.
Okay.
And then I say, "Oh, what's that behind you?" And he looks around, and I drop it, and it hits the ground just behind him, like dagger first into the ground behind his back. You see what I mean?
Yep, I see what you mean.
Right.
He looks down at the dagger, and he snatches it up. Do you think?
And I go, "Gotcha."
We just say, I assure you, we're all equally skilled.
You
in our own
expect me
ways.
to work with you despite your complete lack of respect.
Completely respect.
That was just to show that I was really good at what I do. You didn't see that coming.
We could learn to show respect. Probably.
Do you understand that we don't have to work with you? That's not something we have to do.
And it's not
we could choose to work with people that we like.
Yes, absolutely. But what I'm suggesting is not working with us so much as letting us go look at what these disturbances are.
And how do we know we can trust you?
I mean, we wouldn't come to you asking for permission if we were up there. Otherwise, we'd just go and try it. We did consider just going to one of the scenes, but we heard there's Barakaya wizards there, and
he comes over to you, and he steps closer to you, Gimbal. And he looks at you, and he says, "You understand that right now there are armies from Dagdagil marching upon our city."
Which is why we want to help.
It could be that is why you might be here to spy. You might be here to sabotage from the inside. We're not completely fools.
Like,
well, no, but then that's your choice to make, whether you find us trustworthy or not. We can't force your hand. We can't.
Now, we understand why you would have your misgivings, and we can understand why you'd be paranoid. But we've found we've got a bit of a proficiency for slaying monsters, and if we don't seek these things out, they have a tendency of seeking us out anyway. So we figured we'd get on the front foot and, I don't know, show some initiative.
Come with me. He turns around and he starts walking towards the building, and he goes up into the shade, and then he walks into some offices inside, and there's some scribes there. And he says to one of the scribes, he takes one of the scrubs aside and they have a little chat. And they're in a different room. He says he'll be back in a second. And when he comes back with 4 waxen seals. He says, take these, 1 each. These will be your tickets for when the time comes. If such an event occurs and you hear the city guard bells ringing, and they will be very clear to you, and out of game, 2 of you know what the city guard bells sound like, because they ring the guard tower bells.
Whenever there's bad stuff happening,
yeah, and it will be the tower bell that is. They have some sort of cryptic cipher that they use to tell you which bell tower to go to, but all of the bells around the city will ring, if that makes sense. So they're like they'll ring the number of the guard tower. So you have to know which guard tower refers to which number, and those numbers are not always the same.
Right.
Because they don't want the criminals knowing which tower.
Wow.
So they're
a
little bit clever. So they cycle the numbers. So he says, if you hear the bell towers ringing, if you see guards, you can follow them. And if they question you, you can tell them that I sent you to assist.
Now, Marshall, would this also, if there's no time to discuss anything with the guards, is this permission for us to engage in combat with unknown threats?
With unknown threats.
With the threats to the guard, whatever the guard are.
You can defend the city guard. You can defend citizens of Vane Gate.
Good.
You can defend property of Vane Gate.
Ooh.
Thank you very much.
We
Thank you,
appreciate
for your trust
in us. Yes.
If anyone sees you breaking the law, this will be revoked and you will be thrown in prison.
Fair.
Completely understandable.
You exploit this in any way that I deem fit.
Can we break the seals and read this, or
no?
Do we have to give
seal? It's just unsealed.
A seal. It's just a seal.
It's
okay.
Seal.
I thought it was like a little letter. Okay, cool. No. Like an insignia. Gotcha. Do not abuse this power.
It is a little bit delicate, and you think that it probably the thing about it is it's not going to last forever either, because it's made of wax.
Right.
So it will eventually fall apart.
Mm-hmm.
But it should last
by design, right?
Yeah, it might last for a few weeks if you're lucky.
So quite short term.
Well, we appreciate this, Marshall.
Very well. Is there anything else you wish to know right now?
Nope. We've got a meeting with the Queen.
Well, you mentioned.
Of course you do. Of course you do.
Just shortly, Marshall.
You seem skeptical.
You mentioned the war coming from Dagdagiel to the south.
Yes.
Have there been reinforcements coming back from the west?
We don't have permission to speak on this matters.
No. Okay. No
So that's probably sensitive security information. Gimbal.
Oh yeah, right. That does make us look more spyish, doesn't it? Apologies. We'll be on our way.
I kind of laugh nervously.
We'll be on our way. Thank you, Marshall. And I turn and leave as quickly and awkwardly as I can.
Right. Have any of you guys watched the movie or read the book 1984?
Yep.
I've done neither. And I know that's a
didn't know there was a movie.
Education.
Yeah.
The movie's really, really good, by the way. It's kind of old, but I think it was made in the year 1984.
Who's it by?
Who is it by?
Super famous.
It is super famous.
I can't remember his name. It's super famous.
It's William Hurt, I think, is in it.
He is, yeah. He's
John
the head
Hurt.
guy, right? Yeah, he's like the mother kind of character. Yeah. I think.
Let's see the movie. Anyway, the point being, they talk in the movie a lot and in the book a lot about East Asia and blah blah blah, and they have these the war in East Asia is blah blah blah, and then they change where the war is, and it's all propaganda, like it's not even a real thing.
Okay.
And so that's
that kind of a situation.
At a game, that's kind of the situation, but your characters don't know that, and the citizens of Vane Gate don't know that, and the citizens of Moldrea don't know that. But literally, what's going on is they've constructed this story of a war in the West, And so people are imagining that there's some continent off to the west of the world where there's this big war going on, but nobody's talking about it. But it's obviously out of game. It's cover for something else.
Is in terms of like physically, it's the number of people that would be fighting this fake war.
Yeah.
Does that mean that there is no real standing army?
It does seem to have that kind of implication, yes.
Right. Okay. Cool. Let's go see the Queen.
Right. Well, you're off to see.
Well, attempt to see the Queen.
How long did that kill? How long did that kill?
About an hour.
Like 20 minutes.
Between walking around and your various discussions around the subject, and probably stopping at some street merchant to buy some apple tarts.
Food.
I don't know.
Yeah, definitely.
Snacks.
I want some snacks.
Yeah.
Can we stroll around and try to see if we can find one of these locked down crime scenes?
Yeah, it's a good idea. Just to stake it out, right? Like not to go there, but just to see if we know where one is.
Right. Okay, so what you discover is down in this part of the city and around here. Actually, no, I'm lying. It's not there. It's up here, but it's blocks from the actual pictures on the map are very generic, so don't take them literally.
Right.
They're kind of sort of more symbolic of things. In here by the wall, by the Ansel wall, there is an area there that is basically a bunch of dead end, or should I say closed streets. There's guards posted, and beyond that there's no traffic, no people.
Right.
You're seeing there's like 4 roads that go into this zone, and all 4 of those roads, gates basically, are shut down by guards. And those are city guards.
Right. So not your regular watchmen.
Not your regular watchmen. They're actual guards. They're the external guards, soldiers. They're fully armed, very prepared for killing things.
Hank,
Hoggy.
Yeah. Get Hogsmore to fly over. Just come have a seat with us. You do your thing with your eyes rolled in the back of your head.
All right. Yeah, that's a good idea. All right, cool. So I dismiss Hogsmore because I don't even know where she is. She's just pottering around doing her own thing. I dismiss Hogsmore, and then you know what I mean? I call her back again, so she appears within me. And then I put myself through her eyes.
Where are you when you do this? Like, what's your immediate surroundings?
All right, so I'm assuming we're under a tree somewhere. Do we have trees?
We'll stop by a nearby eatery or tavern or somewhere we can sit and.
Bear in mind, this is the upper class district, so there's not a lot of eateries and taverns. The ones that do exist,
I figure there's trees, though,
flash. There are trees. There's gardens. It's the whole place has been turned into a sort of terraced garden.
Well,
let's set up like a picnic kind of thing.
Exactly. Let's have a picnic and sort of languidly pose while I.
All right.
Are there bakeries?
Yeah.
Not so much in this district.
Wow. Where do they get their bread from?
The nobles don't eat bread.
They get it delivered from one of the other districts.
Yeah.
Huh.
Or they have it baked in their houses because they have servants.
That's true too. All right. So I reckon we have a little picnic.
A picnic.
Without food and stuff. We just sort of, with food maybe. I don't know. We've got some.
We loiter.
We loiter. Yeah, we loiter, but we look like we're loitering purposefully, right? I suppose. Having a meeting of sorts and
fine afternoon.
Yeah.
What you and those of you who from Vaingate, that's basically Hank and Josiah. Can you make history checks, please?
Certainly.
History check. 18.
18.
Oh,
and
so that's a 20.
Wow.
Hey.
Yeah, we're the boys.
Yes. Yeah, we know it. We know
Boys
it.
are back in town.
This part of the town, this part of the city, a long time ago, before you were either of you were born, maybe even more than 100 or 200 years ago, there are stories that it was attacked by a dragon. And so there's various parts of it have been knocked down, and there's been a lot of rebuilding over the years. But this particular area, these next couple of blocks, about the next 5 to 10 blocks of buildings here, are still in disarray. Largely, they've been abandoned for a long period of time.
Oh,
you've heard stories about it being cursed.
Cool. All right, so we'd probably be fairly unmolested then if we wanted to just sort of lay about in this area. Oh wait, no, hang on. That's where Hogsmoor's going.
This is
right?
going to be the area beyond the where you're going.
Yeah. Okay, sorry. Yeah. Okay, cool.
It's okay.
And can Hogsmoor see anybody?
Okay,
any persons?
So as Hogsmoor, you then take off from the park where you're having your picnic. And
that's right.
So I'm going to talk about you in the first person rather than Hogsmoor now. Okay.
Yep.
So you fly up over the entrance into this area, and you can see it's very empty, wide streets, rubble on the streets, broken buildings, collapsed archways. There's a wall there that's been sort of half demolished. There's dogs barking, a pack of skinny-looking runt dogs running around, feeding on whatever they can find, basically.
Right.
It's very much deserted. And then suddenly you come across this little zone where you see some figures standing outside of an archway. And they're both wearing black robes with hoods, and they're standing very still. And you see Hogsmoor sees what looks like a falcon flying in a circle over this little zone.
Right. Okay.
And this is probably all going to be reported back to you, actually, because you've only got 100-foot range on this.
Yeah.
So I think that you go to your 100-foot range, and you're not going to get all of this information from your 100-foot range. So this is going to have to be like an excursion that Hogsmoor makes and comes back to you and then gives you the images.
All right. Okay. Well, that's fine. We can do that. That basically means I sort of go and wake up. Well, oh, she's gone out of range. Shit.
Yeah.
All right.
When she comes back 10 minutes later, this is what she delivers you.
All right.
So when she goes out of range, like from your controller, she doesn't just like crash land onto the floor.
No. I don't know, maybe, but I would assume that
you can send her. You can send her commands before she goes out of range. You can say, "Go and investigate that," and then when you're done, come back to me.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I would do anyway. Yeah.
That's what I would expect. Yeah. So that's what you now know.
Okay. Cool. So there's some black.
Oops.
Thanks, Gone.
There
you go. You're back. You're back.
There's some.
You cut out when you're.
Russell?
Yeah, you cut out for a moment, so I was just wondering where you left up. Yeah, there's some black hooded robed figures.
Right. There's some
Outside
black
of
hooded robed figures outside of an extra area of rubble. Like what was it?
Yeah, you can't tell what was inside there. Hogsmoor didn't go inside because of the falcon. Hogsmoor didn't want to get spotted and was afraid of the falcon.
Yeah, I assume the falcon was one of the familiars. I would assume that, right, Russell?
Like, yeah, you can make that assumption.
Yeah, all right. So I assume there was a falcon familiar guarding the area. So that means that if we want to get into there, we're going to have to be aware of that and understand how to get past that as well. Unless we want to just, roll up and kill these guys.
No.
I don't really want to do that because they're Barrack Isle envoys and we're in the middle of a city, so we need to figure out some way behind them.
No,
those guys
some
don't
kind of
look like town guards.
Hmm.
Yeah. Sorry, actually, Russell, would I know that? Did they look like town guard or did they look like
Who?
something else?
We all saw
the guys in the
in
robes.
the robes, yeah.
They look like Barrack Isle wizards.
Yeah, that's what I figured. So these seals probably aren't going to get us very far.
Fair. Oh, I mean, we could try.
Yeah, I mean, hang on. Let me. I'm going to leave the picnic for just 1 second. I will walk up to the city guard outside.
Yep.
And I want to approach.
Yep. They look up at you, and then they straighten up, but when they lower their pole axes as you approach. Halt.
Why are you stopping me?
This zone is out of limits, sir.
I am Lord Pyrex from Balkanard. Move out of my way.
Lord Pyrex of Balkanard.
No, from Balkanard, not of Balkanard. I think I'm from that one-horse town.
They look at each other.
This is gonna have.
I am a wizard of the Barrack Isle.
This is gonna have consequences.
Yes.
You have papers, sir?
Papers? I don't have my papers on me.
You make a persuasion check.
What could possibly go wrong?
It's a 24.
Wow.
Oh.
Sir,
hell.
we're not familiar with you, sir. Do you have you say you're from the Barrack Isle envoy? Is that correct, sir?
That is correct.
Are you able to procure some papers from your envoy?
If I must, I will do so, but I just need some questions answered quickly. I will not press you further. I will not ask to go beyond you, but some of my party are already here. Can you tell me when they arrived?
I am not sure, sir. There's the various members of your party come through here several times a day, sir.
Several times a day.
Yes, sir.
Can you tell me who they are?
I cannot, sir.
Names. I need names. I need to know who's back there.
I do not have their names, sir.
You are
useful
to me as an ass upon my elbow.
It is, I
You've been waiting to use that.
I only know that they are undergoing a special construction project that they have been given and granted permission for.
Fantastic.
By the Queen.
All right. Well, I will go and I will procure my papers, and you will see me shortly.
Very well, sir. Good luck. Apologies, sir. Apologies.
And so you should be apologizing.
Yes, sir. He looks
I'll have
actually
your
kind of
nose.
He actually looks terrified of you.
And then I leave and I make sure not to rejoin the party right away.
All right.
I'll double around the block, so they can't see where I go.
All right. You take the route via China.
Yeah. Okay. So that went really well, guys.
Yeah.
What'd you do?
They didn't get in.
No, I wasn't aiming to get in. I was aiming for information. And information
really well. What'd you get?
All right. So Barrack Isle wizards come by about 2 or 3 times a day. They're working on a construction project, which has been apparently signed off by the Queen. So.
I wonder if they're rebuilding this rubble here. That's a really good idea.
Who
It's
was
very
it who said we were
optimistic,
being
Tricky.
set up by Pyrex before?
I suggested that.
Okay, so what if the Queen's already into control by the Barrack Isle then? If she's giving permission for them to do shit in town.
Then why would they need to spy on it?
I don't know. I'm just now more afraid of this magic rock.
I am as well, to be honest. Now that we know that the Barrack Isle has an outside game, which is potentially, well, now that we suspect that is more deadly than just simple politicking. I think it's I think it'd be wise to maybe, I don't know. Should we give it to her?
Please.
All right.
Well, what are we doing?
Perception.
Perception.
Hey.
Nat 20.
8.
Way.
22.
Yeah, 22 for me.
Wow.
4.
I mean, we are just lazing in the sun.
So Gimbal, was that a nat 20 as well, or just a 22?
No, mine was just a 19 plus 3.
Wow. Okay. So you and Josiah, who am I missing here?
Hank.
Hank. What did you roll?
Hank got a 4.
Okay. So Hank, you're busy talking to Tricky Bob, I assume.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When the other two look up and notice that there's amongst the various traffic that's heading along the street in different directions at different times, you see a group of Daughters of Twilight wander past on parade with all of their horses and lances and shiny full plate armor with their sillettes, with their visors down and their plumes and what have you. And after they're gone, a few minutes later, you see this wagon go past. And in fact, you see it come out of one of the archways, one of the guarded archways. It's drawn by two oxen, and it looks heavily laden, and it's covered. Everything on the back of it is covered. And there's a person sitting on the front with a hood that looks like the image, Hank, that you got. Or Hank, you're busy talking, so you don't see this. Yeah, so
just the one.
So there's a black hooded figure, and there's two soldiers.
Gimbal.
So how do we inconspicuously follow and or stall them?
We could just trail at a distance.
Okay, let's do that, guys.
People walk streets.
Poke at Tricky and Hank is like, something's going on. There's a wagon over there.
We were having a good conversation.
Plenty of wagons around.
Secret tunnel wagon.
Secret tunnel wagon.
How do you know it's going into a tunnel?
Just came out of the tunnel.
A wagon that makes the secret tunnel.
Out of an archway.
One of the archways.
Oh.
Okay. Well, should we go follow it then?
Yeah, let's follow it.
I don't see why not.
Curiously enough, though, it does lead to a tunnel. It goes to a tunnel that goes beneath the palatial district and comes up on the other side in the Barakyle Envoy complex.
Bastards.
You can travel with it for another 2 blocks before it goes inside the actual Barakyle Envoy complex itself through their gates.
And we're not allowed in this area, I assume.
No, they're not going to let you in. It's
when can we observe when the rider? Okay, first of all, what's the cart? Is it being pulled by like one horse?
2 oxen.
2 oxen. Okay, and the hooded figure, does he do anything? Does he have to lift his hood at any point, or does he have his hood down the whole time and just keeps riding through? Do they stop him?
Nobody stops him. Just goes hood down the whole time.
Well, that's good news.
He or she.
We can't even tell the gender. Can we tell a race there or build?
You can't.
Just goes hood down.
Humanoid figure though, probably an elf or a human.
Right.
See, so what we could do based on those observations,
you know what?
I'm cart.
Hang on a second. I'm actually proficient in disguise kits.
Yeah. So someone wears a hood, we all hide under a cart, and someone puts a blanket over us, and then we look like a bulky cart drawn by a wizard.
I'm not against this idea, but what are we aiming to get by getting into the Barakyle Envoy? We want to be very careful about just putting ourselves into tricky situations with
hang on a second.
So we've got the Queen meeting soon.
Right,
we're gonna go. Yes, we're gonna go and do the Queen meeting first. But wait a second, I got something. Right. Theoretically, if there's carts going out of there, there's also carts going into there, right?
I mean, I guess unless they stay there.
No, but that one went into it.
Yeah.
Oh, do you mean the archway?
I mean the archway going into where we want to go.
Right.
So why don't we go to just have our little parlay with the Queen, if we can. Come back, stake out, wait for another cart to go by, maybe
knock out the driver
with a potion of sleep, if I can get one from Valoran. Nicely, Gimbal. We don't have to go, ambushing people with violence.
No, look, poisoning isn't a nice thing.
It's a sleep potion.
Yeah, drugging them.
Everybody wants to be knocked out.
You shouldn't be unconscious for more than 30 seconds at a time. It can do some real. I had a friend, and he got knocked out in the bar fight, and he was never the same after that.
It's magic, Josiah.
It's sleep. It's just sleep.
You don't know about magic, Josiah. It's okay.
All right, we'll scheme later. Let's go see the Queen. We got to get
Go see the
freshened
Queen.
up.
All right, fair enough. Now,
Tricky's prepared a speech, so
No, I haven't.
Well, what have you been doing this
what
whole
have you been
time?
doing? I wanna see
you
around
told
the
us you
garden.
were preparing a speech.
No, because we went to talk to the guard,
Well,
and then we came here.
You got a few
Tricky.
minutes now.
Well,
Yeah, if
No
we
more-
assume that if
yeah.
you're being silent, then you're coming up with a plan in your head.
Tell you
we're
what,
just
if
talking
you're
about.
if you're not going to say a speech, Tricky, I'm going to make one up on the spot.
I'll get you started.
you know.
No.
Dear Your Majesty.
You're
Your
not saying,
Lordship.
"Dear Your Majesty." You're not writing a letter.
You are
All
very
right.
pretty
Your
today.
Highness.
Well done.
Well, I'm writing what someone would say. So
Are you writing it?
Tricky Bob, this is all on you. You are the most elite of this party.
I mean, that's
Yeah,
true.
you're the only one with
yeah.
any real
If I do
credibility.
it, I'm gonna spit on the floor because I want to. If Gimbal does it, he's gonna say something silly, and
It's the polite way of getting swifty.
and Hank, I don't know. Hank could possibly do it.
the two of them can handle this. They can do the speech.
Mm.
All right.
No, I'm definitely doing it. Just
Josiah, you and me can stand back and look disciplined.
So out of game, shall we say that you've moved back to the outside of the building where the council meeting is occurring?
Yeah,
while
we're walking and talking.
All right. And
Yeah.
you get to the front door, they usher you into the waiting room outside the council meeting. And you see there's a number of nervous looking men and women sitting about waiting for some sort of information. A lot of them look like messengers, like they might be going to run off to various parts of the city to deliver news about the outcome of any of the meeting. Assuming you can presume they have an agenda, so they're going to go through their agenda, and as different points on the agenda are addressed, they open the door and call in a messenger, and that messenger then makes note of whatever has occurred, and then they go off to wherever it is that messenger needs to go. And so, okay, yeah.
I was just going to say to my group, I've just had a thought. So far, we've been pretty lax about all sorts of etiquette,
Protocol.
and it was pretty obvious when we were talking to the captain of the watch that
Yes.
you know, they're not going to take what we say at
Maybe
face
he
value.
was just really anal.
Hang on, Gamble. I've got something more.
Mhm.
What are we going to do when we tell the Queen that this thing here is from the Barakyle envoy, and she has and it's a listening device in front of her court?
Well, I don't know now if I trust her entirely anyway.
What I mean is,
We're
theoretically,
not putting it in the court, though. We're putting it
we're
in
not
her
going-
bedroom.
No, they asked for the court.
They are
Did
in
he?
court. Yep.
Mm.
We will not be the only ones in there.
So what
Are we
is
going
the
to announce to the court that this is a This is
No, we have to tell
No.
her privately.
No,
and how are we going to get a private audience with the Queen?
Mm.
Court audience is one thing.
Request
private
it. We'll
audience-
request it. Tricky Bob will charm her senseless.
Uh,
This is
us
something
in
we
private.
need to.
yes.
This is something we need to plan in advance, though, right? This isn't
Yeah.
something we can just make up on the fly.
I think I can make up on the fly.
Don't do that.
Yeah,
Maybe
What-
we
what-
just. Why don't we just go
I
ahead with this
admire
again?
your
Then?
courage.
You just leave it in the room, and then that's it.
no, I still want to tell her.
Yes,
Mm.
we need to let her know. But what is, I guess, like a purpose of seeing her then? Like what are we actually
We're trying to
need to
rally
make
the
it-
troops
want
for
troops.
Balkanard.
right?
Yeah.
And
But we
then
need to impress upon her the need for a private audience
Mm,
and try and get that. I think that's the first thing. We try to get a private audience, or at least as private as we possibly can.
Well, I mean, we definitely, I think, just by talking about the things that we're going to be talking around the Shadowkai and whatnot, that we can ask for a smaller, like, I mean, surely
mm.
they'll talk about this when Duncan requests the audience. It's not going to be like lords and ladies and squires all around when we're announcing the certain destruction of Balkanard.
Here's a quick
you
one.
sure?
Why don't we just write a note?
We could
Hand the
just write a note.
and the item to her, and then she can read the
I
note.
had that thought as well. Maybe we could just give her the note and the item.
But
I
Then
want
again,
to play this by ear. I don't know if I trust the Queen entirely.
then again, if we give her the note and the item, she may do what she wants with the item and not leave it in the court, which would still leave Josiah on the hook.
The council meeting door opens and another messenger is dispatched.
Are they up to us yet? How many more are there? How many more messages are we waiting for? How many are in the room?
There's 4 messengers in the room right now, besides yourselves.
I want to address one of them and say, how long do these things normally take?
Oh, it depends. It can take several hours. It depends what's on the table. Today might be a long one.
Do you have an agenda?
Is an hour's important?
No, sir, I do not. I only know what I'm waiting for. I'm waiting for Lord Ravamere Townsend to deliver to give me a message. If indeed he has a message, I'm just on standby, sir.
I see. And you do this every day? How often does the small council meet?
Oh, about every 3 days.
Every 3 days.
Yeah, usually maybe 2 or 3 times a week, depends.
I see.
They call these meetings when they feel they need to.
How crowded is it in there?
Oh, there's probably no more than about 12, 15 of them, I suppose. I don't know. I've only ever peeked through the door.
Can we peek through the door now?
No, sir, you can't peek through the door. The door's shut.
But you did it.
You know, I peeked through the door when somebody came out from the door.
Oh.
Well, let's do that then.
Well, the best place to do it from is over there on the opposite side of the door, right, where those 2 are sitting. Obviously, those 2 are pretty clever. They've already figured that out, so they've got the prime position.
Well, yeah, but I've got.
You might be able to pay them to move.
Can we threaten
Where's
them?
my Hogsmoor at this point? Hogsmoor's with me, right?
Is he? Is he?
Okay. Yes. Yeah. Yes, I'd say Hogsmoor's on my shoulder. Actually, he's on my shoulder. Yeah. So
okay. Yeah.
Looks weird.
Is
You're
Momo
surprised?
there too, or what?
No, Momo's outside.
Okay.
He's off in the.
Do you think maybe it would be weird to
sniffing
have
around
an
the
owl on
garden?
my shoulder?
A little bit weird, yes.
I'm okay with being a little bit weird though.
Okay.
All right, so I'm gonna ask Hogsmoor to to sit on one of their shoulders over there, and even if they try to brush him off and shoo him away, he just like lands back on there, just like sits there.
Okay. One of them's a bit freaked out by this, and the other one thinks it's pretty funny. And they start trying to make friends with. Well, one of them's trying to make friends with Hogsmoor, and the other one's freaked out. And slowly, they realize that Hogsmoor's not attacking them or anything. So they sort of both kind of calm down and start sort of talking to Hogsmoor. And who's you? What's your name? And one of them looks over to you. Is like, is this your bird, sir?
Yes, she is my bird, actually. Hogsmoor.
Oh, Hogsmoor, is it? Oh, Hogsmoor.
Hogsmoor's her name. Yeah,
it's very nice to meet you, Hogsmoor.
Yeah. She does tricks too.
Would you like her back? We can't really be seen holding these birds out here, you see, sir, because we're here on official business. That's not.
I have to admit to you, fellas, that Hogsmoor's actually she can be quite vicious. I'm a little bit afraid of her, actually. I'd take her back off you, honestly. I would.
You better get her outside before someone sees, because otherwise
I can't control her. Honestly, can't control her. She freaks me out. She's sometimes I think she's possessed or something. I don't know what to do with it.
Well, we've got to get her out.
All I can do, all I can do is just let her do.
Take
what
her
she
outside.
wants.
Take her outside. Says the other.
I can't. I'm telling you. I tried to get her outside.
He's talking to the first messenger. He's talking to the first messenger, the one that's holding it. First messenger's like, well, all right, just all right. So he starts heading towards the door. I'm taking her outside. We can't have her in here.
Okay. So he moves out to her to go outside.
Starts heading for the door. Yeah.
All right. So I get Hogsmoor to jump onto the other one.
No, I just go and take a seat.
And Hogsmoor flies back to the other one. All right.
And walk over and take the chair.
So all of this business is going on, and the guy, this messenger sort of squeals like a quite high pitched squeal, and the door opens, and Lord Duncan pops his head out. What's going on out here?
And I'll get Hogsmoor to fly up into the rafters somewhere and poop on the guy as she goes up.
Lord Duncan, is there news?
He looks over at you. He says, yes, we have news. He steps outside and he closes the door. He says, I expect you to be at the moon gate of the royal palace in approximately 1 hour.
Oh, good. Much quicker than I thought. That's fantastic.
What are we to expect when we get there?
Well, I'm not sure exactly, but I've been told that we will get you there, and then once you're there, we will seek permission from the Queen directly. But everybody has agreed to let to take the opportunity to at least try to get you in.
Perfect.
We, the council, believe that your plight, your story is worthy of her interest.
Was there anyone opposing?
No one opposing?
That's good to know. Good to know. All right.
Will there be an audience when we're with the Queen? Will there be more people than just the Queen?
If you get to see the Queen, it's not
if we get to see
guaranteed
the
yet,
Queen.
then I expect there will be, yes, of course.
Big
Queen.
audience?
I cannot say, sir.
Okay. Yeah.
It'll be fine.
It'll be fine. It'll be fine.
It largely depends upon the mood of the Queen.
Okay. Is she generally in a good mood? What's Queen like?
Not for me to say. Not for me to say.
Go on, just between us two.
Does anyone maintain?
I have things to
keeping an eye on
do.
her
So
cycle?
1 hour. 1 hour.
All right.
You gone.
All right.
Where's? All right. I'll turn
There's
to
more.
Silent Hank and say, where's the moon gate?
Well, I mean, if you
you do
the moon
you
gate
take a
is the
left
friends
at
we
the,
make along the way.
you go to the corner and then you look at the sky and then you go to the house on the left and then you follow your nose.
And you ask the guard, and
Oh, actually, that's a good point. That's a good point. Is Gareth around?
no,
Gareth
Would he be here?
I thought this was roughly the same
Gareth's been
place.
fired.
This is this is a block away from where Gareth was last seen.
That's just a block. We can go see Gareth.
You want to go see Gareth? You can go.
I
Ask
don't
him-
want to see Gareth.
ask
He's
him
probably
where-
shitting himself. He doesn't want
I
to
just
see us
want
again.
to. I just want to know where are we going?
He
Is it in
explains it
this-
to you.
Okay,
Maybe.
is it in House Moldrea or is it?
It is in this district, yes. It's
Oh,
not far.
okay.
The palace, it looms over the whole fucking city. So
Is it in the
perfect.
center?
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
partly, yes.
Okay.
Cool.
Mm.
All right.
Well, let's head to go see the Queen.
You've
Russell,
got an hour.
what
You've
do-
got
yeah,
an hour
what-
to plan your speech now, too. Tricky.
What do we know about
God.
the Queen?
You know
It's been-
fuck all about the Queen.
She's elusive.
You know that
Nobody
she's-
knows anything about the
she's,
Queen. I
she's
think.
elusive. She's new. She's been around for 2 years.
Mm.
Oh.
You believe that her father died in battle a little while ago,
In the West.
possibly in the West.
Ah.
Yeah, possibly in the West.
Even more plot. Even
so
more plot.
she hasn't
thickening.
been queen for that long.
Mm.
Is there much talk of her beauty?
You've never heard
Gamble.
talk of her beauty.
What?
How old is she?
We just
Gamble.
need
You
to
don't know.
know as much as we can. Going
You don't
in.
need to know about her beauty, Gamble.
Please don't hit on the
Right.
queen.
I mean, I don't
Right.
mind if you hit on the Queen.
This is
That's
about
fine.
all you know about her so far.
Okay.
What you do know is that not many people know anything much about her. That's
Mm.
what you know.
Mm.
That's what she's known for, her elusiveness.
Right.
And the yeah, in fact, no, I can't even say that. Okay,
So when she took over, there was no coronation or anything?
it was a coronation, but
But-
it was not a public coronation.
I see.
Oh.
It was very
Attended
quiet.
by two people,
Mm.
herself and her brother.
And what was the the
made that
public opinion of the king beforehand?
He was fairly well liked.
He was a public figure, like not as elusive as this.
He was a public figure, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm.
Has she raised taxes?
Has she raised taxes? Yes.
Okay.
So
Like-
is she the primary governing body, or does she have like the council that actually does the majority of governmental work?
You would believe that the council does the majority of governing work, but she
like
makes
England.
all the final decisions. She pretty much can, push the governing council around if she wants to. Theoretically,
Mm.
at least
Mm.
that's the way the system is set up.
There's a master of coin and a master of whispers and the hand.
And the
Right.
doors.
Mhm.
It's-
Okay. Yeah, we know a bit.
We know things.
This will be interesting.
You know things.
Mm.
All right. So you find your way to the palace. All right.
I guess we just awkwardly stand outside of it.
All right.
Waiter.
And I think that Lord Duncan will give you a missive that will allow you entry that you can show the guards there. In fact, you know what? He sends you with Gareth. He sends Gareth to escort you to the palace.
From a separate block.
Told you you'd join us, Gareth.
So, Gareth, what do you think?
He sends a messenger to get Gareth to come here so that Gareth can escort you to the palace.
Gareth, Gimble, are you hijacking Gareth?
Well, got you off guard, Judy, didn't we?
Who, me?
No, not you,
Oh,
Gareth. Gareth.
Oh, yes, sir. Thanks very much. So instead of sitting around outside my usual spot, now I have to march around with a bunch of strangers all over the city.
To the palace.
Strangers.
To the palace. Oh, yeah, love the palace, where everyone has to watch out and be on high alert at all times.
Nobody tips.
Well, I mean,
and nobody tips.
People don't tip guards.
Quite so.
Do you have to see Marshal Rex every day?
Every day? Not every day.
Okay, all right. How do you go up when you see him?
What do you say? What do you mean, sir?
Like, does he get up a bit about your behavior, your decor? Is that a standard thing?
Oh, he's always
Discipline.
going on about discipline and decor and decorum and etiquettes and all of that sort of thing. Because you realize, like, we guards, we serve the citizens. You serve the citizens, he says. You're here to serve the populace of Fane Gate. So thusly, you are servants of the working man. You know?
Sounds like a real taskmaster.
Well, you know, I guess the man has. It's part of the reason I signed up for the city guard. To be honest with you, sir, my father was a guard, and his father before him. And
do you feel you live up to their expectations?
I try to, sir. Here? I try to.
Just messing with them. Okay.
In any case, you find your way to the palace, and he takes you into a waiting room where very well-dressed servants, much more well-dressed than you are, serve you
steady
dainty,
on, I look good.
They serve you dainty drinks and treats on trays, and you are treated very kindly. And they put you aside in this waiting room, and they tell you that they're waiting for information as to whether or not the Queen is going to actually see you. But
is anyone else in the room, or it's just us?
It's just you and Gareth and one other guard and a
still
servant.
Here. Yeah. All right. Do you know, like, do they, if you don't meet with the Queen, who do people end up meeting with?
They're usually sent away, I guess.
Really?
If she doesn't
There's not
see
someone to take her place, or?
Well, I mean, I don't know. It depends what the circumstances. And to be honest with you, sir, I've not really had this situation before. I generally just guard the premonstrator's officers.
You've never met the Queen?
I've never met the Queen.
Well, it's a big days for you. You should come in with us.
It strikes me as odd that I've lived in Bengate all my life. Pretty sure I saw the king once or twice, but I've never seen this Queen.
Yeah, she only be elected for 2 years?
Well, can you make a history check, please, Josiah?
Is it 21?
Okay, so you remember that there's some rumors that she might have been very sick. There's other stories that have circulated, wildly different stories. Everything from her being sick to her being hideously ugly, to her being married off to a half-orc barbarian. So there's any number of reasons why she might not show her face, but none of these reasons ring very true to you. But
Gimble.
So she's ugly.
Gimble. She is minging.
We don't know that.
Look, do we really need to be in the palace right now anyway? I mean, just leave.
Leave?
Yeah, what are we here to do anyway? We can just go...
Balconard.
Right. Yes, that.
Yes.
Sure. Okay.
Balconard. Also Josiah's life.
Right. Yeah, I thought that was...
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That's fine.
Which is actually concerning me a bit more now because there are so many wizards in Vangate right now.
I'm more worried for you. I'm more worried for you than I've ever been, Josiah. Yeah, especially now that we suspect the Barrack Island boy of even more hijinks. Yeah, I'm very concerned. Very concerned. I think that this queen of ours really needs. It's in her best interest to talk to us. Wherever she is.
We could dress up Hank like one of the Barrack, and we could use Josiah as the prisoner and say he's taking him to.
I don't think trickery is the way forward here.
Yeah, especially considering that they'll have briefed them on who we are before we show up.
Doors slam open at that point, and a messenger comes in with much pomp and ceremony, and he announces to you, "The Queen Clareska of Skartabel will see you now."
We're gonna see the Queen.
Tricky
Bob, take the lead.
You go first.
Yeah.
And the messenger turns about on her heel and begins to trot down the hallway in the direction of more and more flash-looking rooms that you go past. There's banners on the walls, and you hear there's a horn blast as you're announced into the chamber, and they open the doors up, big double doors into this megaron. And it is indeed a very royal-looking chamber and a very royal-looking palace. And there's gardens kind of flowing in through the roofs and through the eaves of the room that you're in, and parts of the room are open to the sky. Parts of it. But the part that's not open to the sky, underneath that is like a pavilion, and in the center of that pavilion is like a tent, essentially inside the middle of this huge room, and you can see the silhouette of a figure sitting on the throne. And the guards say, "You may approach," and you get closer, and there's a line of guards next to you, more guards than you would want to take on. Let's put it that way.
Oh, how'd you say that?
It wasn't planned, but all right.
I wonder who of our party might want to murder guards, Kimball.
That's how rude the Queen is, doesn't it? Now I'm standing back and on ceremony. I'm gonna try to, after the captain dude, I'm gonna try to feel.
When you get close enough to the pavilion, and it's a yellow cloth, yellow silk, with emblems of the sun split in twain, these two suns, but they look like they would connect together. In fact, there's a seam down the center where that looks like the front of the tent, where the sun can be pulled apart. And you see the silhouette on the throne through the cloth, backlit by candles. And you hear this woman's voice, or at least this female voice, come forth through the cloth. "Who goes there?"
Jerry Bob.
Did they not tell you?
"Who comes before Queen Clareska of Skartabel?"
Your Highness, it is I, Tricky Bob Stoneheart, and my companions.
"You may enter." And the curtains pull back. There's two guards pull the curtains back to reveal this little girl sitting on the throne. She says, "I am Queen Clareska of Skartabel, and I am 9 years old. Come forth."
I'm gonna stop for a second, look at everyone else, and
I'm like completely unwavered whether she would have been like 40 years old or 9 or a fetus. Probably.
I mean, Tricky Bob and you're probably around about the same height, right?
Yeah.
Except she's up on a throne.
Yeah.
Yes. Already above me.
Right. So we're all sort of like
enter.
Yes, Your Honor, Your Highness.
I have been told that you have news for me from Balkanard and other things, matters of import.
Yes,
Speak.
My companions and I have recently traveled from Balkanard, where we've come across some very concerning events that you should know.
She turns to one of the men next to her, a man with a long beard standing next to her in robes. And she says, "Balkanard," she says, "is that far? Stolas, is that far?" "Oh, yes, my lady. Yes, of course, your majesty. Balkanard is a very long way, 6 weeks ride at least. Yes, I see. So you've come a long way with this news."
Yes.
Continue.
sorry, I spoke out of line. Please take my forgiveness. I did not mean to interrupt you.
Continue.
I will. I'm continuing. Yes, so we recently...
Do not dither. Tell me what you know.
There are many dark forces in Balkanad. I would say I'm playing music on Zoom. Sorry. Anyway, yes, there are many dark forces currently at play in Balkanad that you should be concerned about. They
Dark
are
forces.
the Barakaya, Barakaya.
Barakyle?
Yes.
She turns to Stolas. The Barakaya wizards. Does she refer to them as dark forces? I thought they were our friends, she says to Stolas. Oh yes, milady. They are our friends.
Not the wizards.
Oh, them.
Shadakai.
Oh, the Shadakai. The Shadakai.
Shadakai. What is a Shadakai? She says.
They are dark elves that come from the underground and threaten those upon the land.
Russell, can I make a check? I'm not sure what this would be, but I'd like to know if I know anything about her advisor. Does he look like?
Sorry.
He's a human.
No, but not just that, but from what he's wearing or from how he carries
You're gonna
himself.
make an Arcana check.
I'd
You
love
can
to
make an Arcana check
check.
and an Insight check. Those are the two
I'd
checks.
love to make both of those, please. Yeah.
Actually, you
Alright,
can make
so
a
for
history
Arcana
check
first.
too, because you're from Vangate.
Excellent. All right. So Arcana, I got 19.
Okay. Clearly, he follows one of the actual paths of wizardry, one of the schools of wizardry. He's seems to be an what is it? I can't remember, but I think he gets an abjuration path. I'm not 100% sure. I have to come back to you on that.
Right.
There's like 8 schools of magic, and I can't be fucked learning them. I should put them on a chart actually, and put them over my desk so I can just refer to them and be like seamlessly telling you stuff, but I haven't done that.
So he looks like he's from the Abjuration School of Magic. That he's a follower of that school of magic.
Yep. Appears to be. His the sorts of symbols and things that are embroidered in his robes, his staff, that kind of stuff. Yeah, he's got a necklace with a symbol around it that suggests that those are the types of elements and planes that he deals with.
Okay. And the next check was insight.
Insight, yeah.
Insight. All right.
Yeah.
18.
18.
This without any bonuses.
You initially, you at this point feel he's, you don't trust him, and you don't think he's a trustworthy advisor to a 9-year-old girl.
Right. And the final was history, right?
Yeah.
Oh man. I suppose one of them had to be shit. 6.
Yeah, you don't know anything about his history. He's a complete mystery to you.
All right, cool. All right. So at this point, please forgive me, Choky Bob. But you're making a bit of a dog's breakfast of this.
She's like, if it wasn't obvious, she's sweating profusely. She's like
one thing. Sorry, I'm sorry to interrupt you. You're doing a great job describing what's going on. There is one thing that is very important. There is an owl, a white owl, sitting behind Lord Stolas on a perch, which is oddly enough, has some relevance.
Okay.
Back to you, Tricky Bob. You were talking about sweating profusely.
Yeah, she's sweating profusely. She's got like a whole bunch of cue cards that she wrote like last second, and they all got like muddled up out of order. She's kind of like trying to go through them and figure out which one is the next one. While she's like, the shadow card, the Balkanat,
I'd like to give you inspiration.
Yeah, that was brilliant. That was so brilliant. That was great fun to watch.
She's really bad with like very high authority. Like she just doesn't know. This is probably the most important person she's ever talked to in her whole life.
Right. Makes sense. This is probably the most important person any of you talked to in your whole lives, to be fair.
Mm-hmm.
At this point.
Yes. So anyway, she's standing there sweating, and she goes, yeah, so what we would like to request is your help, your armies to fight the darkness in Balkanard and save the town.
You've been sent here by Lord Balkanard, and you're looking for armies to help fight these, turns to start, these Shadakai, these creatures.
Yes, please.
Lord Stalis, forgive me, your Majesty, if I may intervene here just a little. He says, you say Shadakai. Is that what you said?
Yes.
And you speak of them as if they were drow. Are you not confused?
Are they not?
I think at this point, I put my hand on Tricky Bob's shoulder and just pull her back a little. Okay, and like notion to Hank and Josiah, we'll start moving forward in line with her.
We found artifacts of the Shadakai on some affiliates of the drow.
How do you know they were not Shadakai themselves then?
We don't. They may have been.
So were they Shadakai or were they drow?
They were drow, and
they had Shadakai artifacts.
And they spoke of the Raven Queen as well.
Speaking of the Raven Queen is not illegal. She is the god of death.
Well, they seem to have a certain fondness with her.
There is a.
They also mentioned the fall of men on Earth, or the doom of.
So you may have well come across some drow cult, perhaps, with a penchant for some ancient Shadakai artifacts they've come across.
Your ladyship, if I can, your majesty, even if I may approach the queen.
I am
herself.
The queen. Yes.
You are not the queen. Oh, sorry. I thought you were talking. Was I not talking to the guy?
You were talking to him initially, but this is what she says.
I want to talk to the guy. Sorry, I want to talk to the queen. I want to talk to the queen.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm directing this to the queen.
Okay.
Your Majesty, my compatriots and I humbly request a private audience. There has been
out of the question. No one has a private audience with Queen Clareska.
My apologies, but my question was for the queen. Not the Queen's consort.
He looks very sternly at you. It is not permissible. Queen Clareska, you must understand these ruffians. They may be here to assassinate you.
My Queen Clareska, all I can do is assure you that my party and I have only what is best for your kingdom at heart.
She says,
we have news that your consort can't possibly know of, and very, very sensitive news for you, particularly.
That seems wholly unlikely. I'm more
These are very unlikely times.
That you are some sort of ruffians here to who knows what.
My queen, we would not have made it this far
if
we were ruffians.
Of your words, your story?
We have a scroll from Lord Balkanard himself.
Lord Balkanard himself.
Present your scroll.
Present the scroll.
Present the scroll.
One of you two has it. One of you two has the scroll.
I think probably Josiah had it last.
Yeah, that's all right. Sorry. I hand over the scroll and say, as you can see on the seal, which
the servant steps forward and takes the scroll and opens it for her, shows her the seal. And she looks at Stolas. He looks at it. Yes, it is the seal of Lord Balkanard, he says. And they open it up. I see. So Lord Balkanard is requesting troops.
He's requesting aid.
Mm.
Yes.
In the form of troops.
Armies.
I see. But I will take these things into due consideration. What else do you have for me?
One other very sensitive matter that we must speak to you in private. This is why we requested a private.
We're not resolved on this. Due consideration. How long does due consideration take?
As long as I say it takes.
people of Balkanard don't have as long as it takes. The people of Balkanard are under threat of attack, just like the people of Vaingate are.
Did you not say it took you 6 weeks to get here?
Yes,
and it will take another 6 weeks to return. So do you think a few hours or even a few days will make any difference?
Not at all. I think it's perfectly reasonable. I'm so honored for you to consider our request.
I like this one. I wish to speak to you. The others, you can go. Remove them.
Fine. That's great.
Yeah.
The guards
we
grab your scruffs. And
I messaged Josiah.
Out of
I messaged Josiah and said, "Give Tricky the bag."
I'm just going to the back. Oh,
this is ruder than we were to you.
I think that would look pretty suspicious if I just hand her the bag.
Can one of them come with me? That one. I point to Josiah because he was quiet.
You wish one of your compatriots to stay?
Yes.
A reason for this?
I believe that he has a lot to offer as well, and he has a lot to say. He is a very respectable gentleman.
Tricky gets nervous.
Yes, I need emotional support, please.
I see. Very well. You may have one of your companions.
Okay,
choose carefully.
Okay, well, since Gimble's been kind of rude,
pretty much. I'm being dragged out by the guard saying, "She's 9. She's a kid. You know that's a kid, right?"
And as an elf, 9 is even more pathetic, you know.
Oh, no, that's right. Like, at a minute when the scroll came out, I had to stop myself from saying, "Can you read that?" As I'm being dragged away. I'm just.
So, yeah, I'll pick Josiah to stay.
All right.
Out of game. Good call.
He also has the bag, so it kind of makes sense.
Okay, so Josiah and Tricky Bob remain while the other two are taken back to the waiting room. The retainers in the waiting room serve you alcohol and food, so it's not too bad.
Pretty rad.
You know, but they keep you under heavy guard.
I mean, it's me and Gimble. We're pretty happy. Yeah.
This is a fucking palace. They're not going to just let you roam around and steal shit.
Damn it! Not steal things, just sleuth a little.
Yeah, okay. I've got Hogsmoor, but they probably wouldn't let an owl just fly around as well.
No, I need a drink. All right, let's drink.
So Clareska is there with you, Josiah and Tricky Bob. Now speak. What is it that you want?
Is it just the Queen?
It's not just the Queen. There's Stolas there. There's a group of other advisors behind them.
Can I? Oh wait, no, I wouldn't whisper in front of the Queen. Do you think this is a good time for you to talk about your request, Josiah? Yes.
I have a gift I want to present to the Queen.
No.
As a citizen of Vaingate,
this is all very irregular, says Stolas, and he starts walking down towards you.
I think you'll find I'm a very irregular sort of person.
He casts a spell, and this zone falls around you. And
is that truth?
And these little droplets of light begin to fall about you. You sense the space of about 15 feet in all directions around you, Josiah.
He's a cleric.
You don't know what he is.
Oh.
I don't think Zone of Truth is a...
It has a saving throw.
It's a cleric spell, though, isn't it?
Is it just a cleric spell?
Let me double check. I always thought it was. I might be wrong.
From Adventure Zone, I think you think.
There's some crossovers. There's some crossover spells.
Yeah, not all spells are... Yeah, I mean, that's right.
Okay.
No, it's a wizard spell. It's an enchantment.
It says cleric. No, wait.
School of Enchantment.
Anyway, I'm feeling. What am I feeling?
Well, we're gonna make a saving throw, of course. Charisma save.
Charisma save. Okay. It's a 10.
8.
10, so you fail. So you cannot speak a deliberate lie.
Now let's see how good you are at half truths.
Right. Very good. Speak.
I'm very nervous. And we
do not have all day for this.
I have
a gift. Important matters to attend.
I have a gift I need to give the queen.
A gift from who? Says Stolas. From you? Personal gift for the queen? It is not allowed.
Not from myself. From a man of a position of power.
Oh, all of this nonsense. What is going on here? He speaks the truth, your majesty, says Stolas.
I give this under some duress.
You give this under duress?
Under duress.
Explain yourself plainly, sir. Stolas slams his staff on the marble floor.
I reach into the bag and I call out for
I jump on him.
So you reveal your bag of holding before the court.
Yep.
As you take out your
the eye. Yeah.
What do you call it?
Eye.
Okay.
Ivan. We called it Ivan.
Can I?
It does not take that name. Does not hold. And it is lost forever. No.
Oh, good.
Wouldn't that be great?
Yeah.
Tricky, do it.
Can I jump on him?
So the eye appears in your hand as you reach into the bag and you say eye. Okay. So now your hand's in the bag and you're holding the eye.
And my hand is still in the bag.
Yep.
I advise.
As your hand is in the bag at this point, this looks extremely suspicious to everybody in the court. And I think that the guards probably drop their halberds in your direction and come rushing in to cut you off from the queen. And they are going to start pulling you back towards the exit. Everybody's frozen. Does that mean I am cut off? Check, check, check. Check, check, check. Oh my God.
Hey, we're back.
Sorry. I don't know.
Yeah,
what
we
the
go.
hell
That's what I was
happened
trying to do.
It was
Sorry,
a blip.
where did you get to?
You were
Oh, we just
dragging,
met
you were
again.
dragging us off.
Right.
It's
So
fun
they,
watching me
Dragging
not be
you
a part
off.
of the train wreck. This is fun.
they start pulling Josiah backwards towards the exit. So you've sort of knocked off your feet, grappled. I mean, you can resist this if you want. There's a lot of them, and it's not going to go well. I can accept.
Okay, I drop to my knees, and I guess I say, I swear I do not mean you harm.
There is a pike head right above your head right now, and you feel the point of it against the back of your head, and the soldier just gently pushes your head down to the floor. Don't move, he says. Take your hands out of the bag.
I let go of the eye,
Uh-huh.
and I take my hand out of the bag.
Stolas starts coming forward in your direction. What is this? You attempt to kill our queen?
Obviously, I wouldn't attempt to kill the queen.
This will be a suicide mission, you understand? You will die now if you make any action against her.
Yes, I completely understand, but I just said I'm not going to kill the queen.
What are you here
Bit of
for?
truth.
I am presenting a gift I've been passed on by a high-ranking society in Balkanad.
Who?
Would he technically be outside the zone of truth now?
You don't know.
No, I don't
You're
think
not there.
15 feet, I think, yeah.
Probably not.
I fear if I answer this, it will be at my life.
Then we are at an impasse.
It seems that way.
What is this gift? What is the nature of the gift?
The gift, I advise that the queen only lies in front of it.
What?
Tell only lies in front of the gift.
This is very confusing. She says, Stolas, retreat. Enough. I wish to hear what this man has to say. Clearly, he cannot speak in front of you for some reason, as odd as it may seem. I will have instead my sentries guard this conversation. And she calls forth some of the soldiers. She says, you may stay. Stolas, leave. Stolas grumbles. The zone of truth dissipates. And he says, this is a mistake, Your Majesty. A mistake. This man is sent to kill you, I'm sure of it. You should put him down now.
Can I get off the floor now?
Slowly they let you rise back to your feet.
I'll stay on one knee, crouched. Okay, I feel like I can talk
plainly now. My what does she call you? Did you have a name that you presented yourself as?
Josiah, my liege. My lady.
She says, speak plainly now, Lord Josiah, or I will have you killed.
I present you a gift that we found from Balkanard.
From who? Tell me who it's from, or you will die on the floor now.
Just say it.
Yeah. My lady, this is from Lord Pyrex, a wizard.
Never heard of him.
And I don't think it matters who he is. But this gift, I advise to keep to yourself. It is the eye of a black dragon, and it can grant you many powers over the years if you feed it lies. Specifically, if you take it out and you tell it non-truths in front of it, it will make you powerful over the years. It has great malice inside of it, and this device can make you a powerful ruler.
This device sounds evil.
It is evil, and that's the evil that you can twist for your own good.
Why should I?
Fucking hell. That's you back.
Yeah.
But muted.
Back.
Well,
Back but muted. All right.
You're muted.
You're muted, Russell.
Or maybe your headset's just busted.
Check.
It's muted. Oh.
Testing.
There we go.
Oh,
There we go.
But it still
I think
says
it was
Yeah.
actually just connecting. That's all. It's just it takes a few seconds to connect.
Okay.
Right.
This is so weird. I've just disconnected for twice in a row for no particular reason.
It's still not looking good. You're still
It's
Still a bit jumpy.
Yeah.
okay. Well, good luck to us. Anyway, we've only got another quarter of an hour anyway. So
Yeah, that's true.
all right. So she says this sounds like an evil artifact. Why should I have truck with it? Why should I have truck with you?
Because I am a citizen of Vanegate. I've been a citizen all my life, and I've lived under your father's rule and your rule for the last 2 years. And I can see great potential in you.
So you wish to twist me to some evil end?
No, just...
Then why do you bring this evil thing into my presence?
Because you get out the evil inside of you. You feed it out, and you can only be just and good once it's been released from you. This is the magic of a black dragon eye.
You're
Don't
saying
you know
that
these
I
things?
have evil within myself. How dare you?
We all
is
have
enough.
evil in
Enough.
ourselves.
Enough,
Look,
she
watch
says.
this.
Put him down.
And I spit on the ground.
Your Highness, I can agree that you are much above this.
Tricky Bob, you can make a persuasion check. If you fail this persuasion check, Josiah, you're going to be put down. I'm sorry. That's no.
13.
What was it?
13.
13. Halt, she says to the guards. You have one last chance.
Oh, wow. Her charisma must be very low.
Tricky Bob. You got this, right?
Josiah's life.
Anyway,
Where is this object?
Please, Your Highness, do not take
out
this object.
Take it out and place it on the floor before you.
I reach
I would
out
be very cautious if I were you.
and I call for the black eye.
All right.
And yep. And I present and put it on the floor in front of me.
Very well. And she turns to you, Tricky Bob. Are you carrying your weapons and stuff, Tricky Bob?
Nope.
No. Okay, she turns to the master at arms and she says, "Destroy it." And he walks across and smashes it with his halberd, and it crumbles to dust.
Excellent choice.
I refuse to have such a thing in my presence. Now you need to get out.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Remove yourselves.
What about Balkanad?
My apologies for our behavior. I did not expect him to act this way. I hope you still consider Balkanad's request seriously, Your Highness.
I shall
have
call
nothing
you.
but...
I shall send for you if I choose to send troops to Balkanad. At present, we have matters of our own to take care of.
I respect that.
Good day.
You
The
too.
guards point you towards the exit.
Kind of, as we're leaving, it's like, yeah, I kind of wish I'd actually gotten away with it now. He seems like a little upstart.
I was very confused what you were actually doing there.
I was trying to.
Me and Hank still enjoying food.
Yeah.
Yes.
We're still enjoying food. We have no idea what's just transpired. We're living the good life.
Until till Josiah and Tricky Bob are escorted back into the waiting room, at which point the guards stand you all up and start pushing you away from the grapes and the wine.
Hey, what did you do? What did you do?
I'm going to grab a bushel of grapes before I get kicked out.
Right, and the guards are escorting you to the exit.
How'd that go? We all good? Josiah saved.
Very poorly.
Your new friend, was it Gareth?
Yeah.
Gareth.
Yeah, he ejects you from the court, from the palace.
I thought we were friends.
What happened?
How'd that all go? You guys seem like you had it pretty under control.
Well, she might consider the Balkanad support, maybe. She said she'll call for me. Do you think she still likes me? I hope she still likes me.
Probably.
Pyrex is going to have me murdered.
She's a kid.
I almost killed him
like...
as well.
Well, as long as the queen is okay, I think it's a necessary sacrifice.
Tried to convince them that it was something that if they only lied around, that it would be good for them to do so that she would only tell lies. But unfortunately,
you tried to convince the queen to
pirates?
only tell lies in her courtroom.
She's 9 years old. I thought she'd take it to a bedroom and it's so magic, and I'll tell it lies and tell it stories. And
the eye itself, is that just a spying device then?
Yes.
Were you aware of that?
Yes, that's what I told you. I told you all that.
You told us that. What we were worried about though was that it wasn't what Pirates said it was.
Well,
we were worried it was more than just a spying tool.
So is Josiah dead now?
I'm right in front of you.
No, not now. But essentially you're dead, right?
Well, potentially
we may have to lay a bit lower.
No, we didn't get. We did the job.
Surely not.
We did the job. We got to the courtroom.
No, I think it was...
we could join the town guard or the town watch.
I've got a house waiting for me.
The only thing that cements me to me is that I gotta kill Pyrex before he kills me.
Yeah.
I don't think we need to be that obtuse. I think
I'm going with a gimbal route on these things now.
What does that mean?
We don't need two gimbals. That's too much.
I'm only vying for one person now because I almost lost my head in there, and it was pretty embarrassing.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are you talking about? You go my route, you just embrace the embarrassment.
Do you tell us what happened in there?
Doesn't go away.
Yeah, that's literally what I just was telling you.
You've only yourself to blame. You weirdo. That's not what we discussed.
Why not? Yeah. Did you get her by herself?
No. The wizard left, but that was it.
No. Then you could have just said the Pyrex has made this a spy gem, and your life is on the line to deliver it.
He just refused to say it, and I don't know why.
I think I have a bad influence on
crazy Josiah.
No, I think it would have been bad to outrightly state that anyway.
Well, nothing could be done about it now.
Anyway, in a couple of weeks we'll forget about this anyway, because Dagdagiel will kill the 9-year-old and probably put a of age king in place or something.
I think that's probably a better idea. Truth be told, this whole monarchy business is not making much sense to me anymore.
I think that there are many players vying for control of the monarchy, and I have a feeling that this whatever his name is, Stolas is probably not. Let's find out more information about Stolas, and then let's go and have a look at this place. You know, these places where the Barakyle people are coming from. Let's go and check that out.
I don't know how much we're going to find out about him, honestly. I don't think we'll be getting near them anytime soon.
Balarin might know something. He's a mage.
You really like this Balarin guy, don't you?
Balarin doesn't know shit.
I might know something more that you don't about my mentor.
We could head south. Oh no,
go back to Balkanad.
Yeah.
Well, we could go about
safety.
We should seal that gate.
I say we go back to Balarin. We tell him what we know. Tell him about the Stolas fella. See if he knows anything about him.
What's your angle, Hank?
I want to see if we can still get some help to Balkanad.
No, we are. I thought we were just waiting.
And we're not going to get it.
We might still get it.
We might not. We might not. If Stolas is part of the Barakyle envoy.
So what, you want to find some other means to save Balkanad? What, just the 4 of us?
Or at least see if it's likely that we even will get some help for Balkanad, and then find some other. And if we don't get help to Balkanad, figure out why, and then actually get it done.
Think of it this way: it's win-win no matter what for us. If they take us seriously, they'll send a force to Balkanad. If they don't take us seriously, but there is something at play, they'll want to get troops out of Vangate, so it's easier to be captured or manipulated. So they'll send troops to Balkanad. I think we'll get our troops. Just have to wait.
Yeah, I actually agree with Gimblethorns. Yeah,
I think we wait and see this time.
You make a good point,
because I don't want to talk to them again.
I wouldn't mind.
Right. Well, in the meantime, at least so that we can get a better grasp on the political landscape, let's talk to Balarin anyway. What else have we got to do?
I am not cut out for politics. I've realized that now after my brief stint
I agree with you.
It's rough.
Thought it was very nice.
Oh God, Chicky, wake up! Stop shaking.
Should we do that? And then you guys want to go and check out this place anyway, right? The Barakyle envoy's secret hush place. Do you still want to do that?
Not particularly.
Not particularly.
The only thing I can. Yeah, and the only thing I think that's in there for me is being targeted by a whole bunch of magic missiles.
I mean, you're already right.
Exactly.
Does this mean we can't leave Josiah alone anymore?
Oh, you haven't.
You need like house arrest. You need like a guard.
You're my guard, Gimbal.
All right, done. I follow Josiah around now. We're bunk buddies too. Same room.
All right.
That hasn't changed our situation any.
Oh, I know, but that just means I don't get to wander off by myself anymore for a bit until this is sorted. Anyway.
That's probably for the best.
All right, we head back to Balkanad then.
Balarin's,
yes, that's
right. So you get back to Balarin's, and I think we shall leave the game there tonight. So at least the recording, we can keep chatting.